Chapter 1. New York. Where is this? Lin Ke was stunned. The place of entry is in ruins. Didn't you just lie in bed and sleep? Is this my hand? Lin Ke couldn't believe it. A pair of small hands appeared in front of his eyes. They were chubby and cute. I have become a baby. At the moment, he was a little pleasantly surprised that he could live many more years. It's just that there seems to be some confusion here right now. How can I survive? At this moment, a reminder sounded in his mind. You came to another world by chance and rejuvenated. Because of this encounter, you passed through the original barrier and gained world-class understanding and the physical potential of humans in this universe. I never thought that I would be a hero one day, but right now, let's think about how to live. He is now in an alleyway. It's okay if someone passes by, but it's over if no one passes by. Just as Lin Ke was thinking, there was the sound of footsteps outside the alleyway, and his eyes lit up immediately. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hearing the cry, a group of people came quickly. The leader was a beautiful Asian, who hurriedly picked up Lin Ke, feeling a little overwhelmed. Lin Ke stopped crying all of a sudden and smiled cutely. Her childish voice was tender and cute. What a poor child. Another man in a black suit said. Several of them are agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right now New York has just been invaded by the Chitauri, and it's chaos. The little baby was all alone, and he didn't know if he had been abandoned or what. Pause the action. Go to the rescue point first. Hill held Lin Ke in his arms, with loving eyes. Along the way, she saw many tragedies in the world, and when she suddenly saw this little life, she felt instantly healed. Everyone has no objection. Half a month later, a car pulled up to the door of the almshouse. Hill stepped out of the car and looked towards the door of the poorhouse. After going back that day, Hill hardly slept soundly. As long as he closed his eyes, he would recall the tragic scenes. Going deep into the disaster area on the ground will cause too much psychological pressure on a person. Fortunately, whenever she couldn't fall asleep, she would think of the little life she hugged in the disaster area, that sunny, smiling face, pure and bright. I have checked on the internet within the bureau, but there is no information about the child's parents. Hill was in a disturbed mood and stepped on the high heels lightly and slowly into the poorhouse. After a long time, Hill came back after completing the formalities, holding a baby in his hands, with a nervous expression on his face. Good boy. Hill calmed down softly and got into the car. In the car, there are fixed baby carriages, toys, and so on. These are what Hill prepares these days, Hill kissed little Angel and started the car. 3 months later, after Lin Ke finished eating the milk powder that the nanny added, he kept wandering in the stroller, smiling and very leisurely. He already knew what world he came into. Marvel. This place is full of dangers, and even the entire universe may be destroyed. He was very worried at the beginning, afraid that he would GG if he was not careful. Fortunately, after a few days of stability, his mentality calmed down. The security. In order to survive better, Lin Ke began to study the path he would take in the future. He found that with his world-class understanding, he can analyze everything from point to surface and from surface to circle, and there is almost nothing difficult for him. This time he was overjoyed. As an Oriental person, he prefers cultivation to mutation and genetic modification. The power brought by cultivation belongs to oneself. There is no risk of being unable to control it, and it can be continuously improved. If you want to grow, you must have a good foundation. Lin Ke felt the changes in his own vitality, and the complicated lines in his mind gradually connected together. As the saying goes, one leaf knows autumn, and autumn knows the reincarnation of all things. You have been perceiving your own life rhythm and nutrient absorption method for a long time, and you have an epiphany and created the food element law, food element method. Use breathing to regulate digestion function, accelerate nutrient absorption, and improve physical fitness. It's finally done. With the appearance of the prompt in my mind, the content about food element law popped up constantly. Lin Ke smiled. It turned out that this was an epiphany. It was a sudden enlightenment. With the food element law, there is no need to worry about the basic physique, and the future will definitely crush ordinary people. The next thing to consider is how to really take off. Lin Ke squinted her bright eyes, and while the babysitter was washing the baby bottle, she pulled on the brake with her little hand and slipped under the window, basking in the sun. Baby's skin is delicate and cannot be exposed to sunlight for a long time. But this is related to Lin Ke's future evolutionary path, and he has to take it seriously. From the babysitter's prenatal education and various gossips, he learned a lot about the world. For example, my adoptive mother is Hill of S.H.I.E.L.D. And there are mutants in this world. This means that I am likely to be in a parallel universe of a movie universe. Originally, after the Great War in New York, there will be more than 10 years before the final battle will usher in. But now, he is not sure, so it must become stronger as soon as possible. After such a long period of observation, he already has a rough idea of the way to go in the future. That is being a Superman. This is in line with the current worldview and is a feasible path. Looking at the entire world, Superman is an extremely buggy existence. Possesses the abilities of blowing out fixed star, unlimited power on the material level, traveling through time and space, ignoring the law of cause and effect, and fabricating high-dimensional creatures. What's more, Superman has endless potential. The so-called Silver Superman and Gold Superman are just one stage of Superman. In theory, Superman could have more and stronger stages at the same time. Not long after, the little nanny came back. Seeing Lin Ke in the sunshine, she was startled and quickly hugged Lin Ke. Lin Ke's small face is white and tender, with baby fat, very cute, and she doesn't cry when she is picked up rashly. Little rascal, how did you come here? The little nanny resisted not to kiss Lin Ke, but only touched his little fleshy face. An adult kissing a baby may cause bacterial infection. With her excellent professional knowledge, she would definitely not do this. Suddenly, Lin Ke groaned, pouted, and pulled on the babysitter's chest. Is this not full? The little nanny stopped her a few times and found that Lin Ke was still looking straight, sucking continuously, and guessed what? Hey, Mickey, wait a minute. The babysitter carefully put Lin Ke on the bed and hurried to make milk powder. Xiao Miki is Hill's nickname for Lin Ke. It will definitely not be called this in the future. Not long after, the babysitter came back and put the nipple of the bottle on Lin Ke's mouth with a smile. The temperature is right. Lin Ke started to suck immediately, staring at the babysitter with big black eyes. The little nanny is called Mia. She is an Asian with yellow hair, and she looks very iconic. And don't look at what Lin Ke calls her as a babysitter in her heart. In fact, she is already a graduate student, and she still needs to study occasionally. It seems that she is preparing for a nursing degree. Looks like Angel Yin, Lin Ke muttered secretly. Chapter 2. After drinking, Lin Ke felt warm all over and fell asleep beautifully. When he woke up, Hill had already come home from get off work and finished the handover with Mia. Did it wake you up, cutie? Hill's cautious approach suddenly became bolder, and he came to the bed and hugged Lin Ke. Ma'am, little Mickey has been sleeping all day, Mia said with a smile. Yeah. Hill's face was full of unconcealable joy, hugging the fleshy little dumpling, feeling that all the fatigue of the day had faded away. There was a trace of envy in Mia's eyes. Lin Ke is the most well-behaved baby she has ever seen. Even if she sleeps during the day, she will not make noise at night, which is really worry-free. It would be great if I could take care of Mickey all the time, night. Mia sleeps in a side room, and Hill offers her a good deal, and housing is part of it. Hill teased Lin Ke for a while, then put him on the side of the crib and fell asleep peacefully. Time passed, and half a month passed quickly. The babysitter found that Lin Ke was eating more and more. But through observation, she did not find any negative phenomena, and could only speculate that Lin Ke was growing her body. Other than that, Lin Ke is all good and lovely. The only thing that worries her is that Lin Ke likes to slam on the brakes, and he especially likes the sunshine, the kind that can't be stopped. For this reason, she had to wait for Lin Ke while reading, pulling him back from the sun regularly to prevent burns. At this time, Lin Ke stopped struggling and seemed to know that he had a time to relax. In order to embark on the road of becoming a Superman, Lin Ke needs a lot of observation and real experience. No way. Who made him have no research goals? If he has a research goal, he can specialize in researching the results he wants faster. 3 months later, you have studied the relationship between the human body and the sun for a long time, and constantly adjusted the rhythm of your own life. You had an epiphany and created the sun-breathing method. Sun-breathing method. Take in external light energy through breathing, so that the body can get better energy supplements and enhance the activity of essence, chi, and spirit. The first step in the cultivation method is indeed breathing. My guess is correct. Lin Ke had a big smile on his face, and he was extremely happy in his heart. After 3 months of hard work, I finally researched the first cultivation method, which is not easy. Everything is difficult at the beginning, but with this experience, it will be easier than creating exercises afterwards. I don't know how it will work out, but I'm really looking forward to it. Lin Ke's eyes were slightly closed, and he entered a state of doze that seemed like sleep but not sleep. His heart was peaceful, and his breathing became natural and long. In this state, all the cells in his body seemed to open his mouth, breathing heavily, introducing some kind of warm energy. This is light energy. Light energy can stimulate the potential of life, which is very mysterious. Even Lin Ke, who has world-class comprehension, has not thoroughly studied all the changes in its application. The effect is really good. Lin Ke opened his eyes and observed the changes in himself while maintaining the sun-breathing method. First, receiving the initial baptism of light energy, his cells became active, and this activity was natural. Immunity, blood supply ability, and life potential have all been enhanced, just letting nature take its course. The cultivation method created by Lin Ke now focuses on stability. After all, it is used to lay a solid foundation. It's so comfortable. Lin Ke chrysalis lazily, her big eyes bright. Beside, Mia misunderstood something, picked up Lin Ke and went to the toilet. Lin Ke had no choice but to put some water in, by the way. Oh, Mickey is amazing, come on. The water splash was very strong, which made Mia exclaimed, which made Lin very embarrassed and wanted to grow up quickly for a while. At this time, Mia showed a smirk, flicked the little bird. Lin Ke suddenly became even more embarrassed. Are these girls curious about children's children? He quickly turned sideways and buried himself in Mia's chest so that she couldn't bounce. Night. He dragged home exhausted, and Mia was leading Lin Ke to read a book in the living room. Book love is one of Lin Ke's hobbies. Both Hill and Mia were surprised by this, thinking that Lin Ke might become a scientist in the future. Miss Hill, you're back. Mia looked up from the book. Why did you bring Mickey to the living room today? He'll put the coat on the clothing rack and asked with some doubts. Usually Lin Ke stays in the nursery. Mickey is 3 months old and needs to get used to the new environment, Mia explained. This approach is beneficial to the baby's mental health, and it can also avoid the occurrence of low immunity in the future. Suddenly, Hill nodded in understanding. She has read a lot about parenting books these days. After cleaning it with hand sanitizer, Hill's eyes were doting, and he hurried over to hug Lin Ke, smelling the fragrance of milk. Hill sat on the sofa, let Lin Ke sit on his lap, and faced himself. Little Mickey, do you miss your mother? Giggle. Lin Ke waved her chubby little hands, trying to make Hill happy. As the veteran of SHIELD, Hill is very busy on weekdays, and sometimes he can't go home all day. Lin Ke was adopted, so he naturally wanted to provide his own value. Seeing Lin Ke's cute appearance, Hill suddenly became happy and rubbed the little angel's cheek affectionately. Lin Ke blushed tenderly, but she was more or less used to it. Mia, take care of Mickey first. I still have some things to attend to. After a while, Hill showed reluctance, handed Lin Ke to Mia, and went to the study by himself. Mrs. Hill is always busy. Mia hugged Lin Ke, looked into his black gemstone eyes, and shrugged, expressing her helplessness. Hoo-hoo. A strand of Mia's yellow hair hung down, and Lin Ke helped her blow it away. Cute. Immediately, Mia was elated, and leaned close to Lin Ke's neck, rubbing it like an orange kitten. Ah, these women. Lin Ke was speechless, patted Mia's head, and sighed in his heart. It's such a hassle that both women have to take care of themselves. Night. In the baby room, the wallflowers are colorful and small toys are everywhere. Hill was wearing pajamas, sitting cross-legged, teasing Lin Ke. Every night, as long as Lin Ke doesn't go to bed early, Hill will play with Lin Ke. This is a rattle. Does Mickey like it? Hill twirled a snare drum and grinned. She bought this at a Chinese shopping mall, and it was quite expensive. Boom. Lin Ke pretended to be attracted by the rattle, reached for it, and finally fell into Hill's arms, not wanting to get up. Hill was amused by Lin Ke's cute panting look. It seems that Mickey Mouse is tired. Let's go to bed. After speaking, Hill carried Lin Ke into the bedroom, turned off the lights, and went asleep. After Hill fell asleep, Lin Ke opened his eyes, with the light of deduction shining in his eyes. That bald Thanos. Hill died when he snapped his fingers in the future. I can't let this happen by myself. Chapter 3. Time flies. Half a year has passed. On this day, while Mia was taking a shower, Lin Ke flopped on her short legs, climbed onto the seat, opened Mia's notebook, unlocked it with ease, and started the surfing trip. Manhattan Mutant arrested. It didn't take long for Lin Ke to find the news he was interested in. This timeline, the X-Men and Mutant Brotherhood have been disbanded. Now as long as Mutant commits a crime, no matter the file size of the crime, he will be sent directly to a special prison for severe sentences, which can be said to be very unfair. There is no way whoever let the battle between the leaders of the mutants cause too much harm to ordinary people. The famous Professor X once caused a big incident, killing hundreds of people by accident, and now his whereabouts are unknown. The widespread use of genetically modified foods has suppressed the X factor and caused defects, which caused this tragedy. As for mutant's ability, Lin Ke is still more interested. After all, its source is the Tingen group. He is confident that the cultivated X ability will not be affected by genetically modified food. Even if the problem is serious, it is enough not to eat genetically modified food. In the original book, after Professor X ate the non-GMO food from the farmer's house, his mind cleared up a lot. Hey, isn't this the same as a concentration camp? Looking at the introduction of mutant prison on the news, Lin Ke sighed, and then entered the learning website to look up biology-related knowledge. His speed of reference is amazing. Tread, tread, footsteps sounded. Wrapped in a bath towel, Mia glanced at the baby's room. Lin Ke is playing with building blocks, looking like a good baby. Seeing this, Mia was relieved, went back to her room, and began to dry her hair. Well, Mutant Gene Mutation Report, the third issue of the Superhuman Journal, experimental samples contributed by Captain America? Interesting. Lin Ke is tireless and frantically absorbing knowledge. The hairdryer word, but Mia was not in her room anymore. Stepping on the carpet with her pink heels, she walked towards the nursery, as cautiously as a thief. Mickey doesn't usually like to play with building blocks, which aroused her suspicion. The distance is getting closer. Mia came to the door step by step, looked around, and found that Lin Ke was typing on her notebook and the screen was blue. This immediately frightened her out of her wits. Your own learning materials. Little villain. Mia got angry, quickly picked up Lin Ke, and tried to restart the computer. Fine. The computer is not broken. TSK? Mia made a terrifying expression on her pink lips and looked directly at the innocent Lin Ke, with a dangerous gleam in her beautiful eyes. Mickey, did you do something bad? Lin Ke still had an innocent look on his face, but he was also afraid in his heart. Fortunately, I was astute and noticed the movement outside the door at the last moment. Otherwise, Mia would find out that I was looking for information, and I would have to suspect that I was an alien. For the sake of being so cute, I'll let you go this time. In the end, Mia gave Lin Ke a hard kiss as punishment. Lin Ke quickly wiped his face. Although Mia's kiss is fragrant, but there is indeed saliva. Go down and play. Mia put Lin Ke down. Lin Ke stepped out of the room. Mia helped her forehead helplessly and immediately followed. Lin Ke has shown Superman's first-class physical ability since he was a child, and he is very smart. While she and Hill were happy, they were also a little distressed. Because if a child is too energetic, it is very troublesome. He fumbles here and there, and no one knows if he will touch something dangerous. I saw Lin Ke came to Mia's room. Only then did Mia remember that the hairdryer was on, so she hurriedly turned it off. But Lin Ke went to the drawer, rummaged through the box, and finally took out a medical book. Mia's eyes widened. This is what she will use. Good boy, come to play with her book after playing with the computer, right? Lin Ke likes flipping through books, and he'll bought a lot for him, treating them as toys. But those are children's books. Lin Ke is really not interested. The study room is usually locked and cannot be entered. So if he wanted to read a book, he could only come to Mia. This is not the first time. It's really getting bigger and bigger. Mia pursed her cherry-colored lips, carried Lin Ke to the bed, and went to fetch the notebook by herself. One big and one small, lying on the bed. One flipping through a book, the other playing with a notebook. So disharmonious. A book was quickly finished by Lin Ke. He turned over, facing the wall, and seemed to be sleeping in a quiet manner. In fact, he is connecting the knowledge in his brain. Based on your experience of practicing sun-breathing method, combined with the knowledge you have learned about the human body, you created Sun-Breathing Method 2.0. Sun-Breathing Method 2.0. By absorbing the power of fixed star, genetically optimize one's own genes. The root of human beings is genes. As long as the genes are good enough, killing gods is just a matter of leisure. Lin Ke's small brows stretched. In the future, he is destined to go a long way on the path of biology and reach a level that no one can match. Time to show some ability. This enables better access to resources. Lin Ke climbed onto Mia's back, shouting, "Sister and sister," making a fuss. Mia only felt that Lin Ke had changed and turned into a little troublemaker. Suddenly, she froze for a moment, turned around and said, "What did you call me?" "Elder sister." Lin Ke was grinning, and his pronunciation was very clear. Mia was completely stunned. The towel slipped off her body, revealing her exquisite figure. A 9-month-old child can call someone. But there will not be such a clear consciousness. It is more like an accident and a slogan. As for Lin Ke, He was obviously calling himself. Sister, I want to read a book. Lin Ke's language is not amazing and endless. Mia rubbed her yellow hair in a daze. Did Mickey get enlightened? Night. Hill is back. She was wearing a plain coat with a low-cut hairstyle, which gave off a refreshing and capable feeling, sassy and cool. Lin Ke immediately went up to call for someone, and said his simple appeal, such as kissing, hugging, and holding high. Hill was surprised immediately, and at the same time fell in love with Lin Ke even more. A few more days passed. Lin Ke has been able to speak long sentences completely, with clear consciousness and strong expressive ability, and named himself Lin Ke. If Hill had not done a genetic test on Lin Ke, he would have suspected that he was an alien. She decided that she picked up a genius and came back. This kid might surpass Tony Stark in the future. However, she doesn't seem to have the idea of expanding elite education, but just keeps asking Lin Ke to call her mother and lures her with sweet fruits. Mickey, this is dragon fruit. Tell me I want to eat dragon fruit. Hill gave Lin Ke a piece of red dragon fruit to lick, and then backed away with a smile on his face, letting Lin Ke chase after her. Eat dragon fruit. Lin Ke chased after her, and quickly cornered Hill, hugging her leg. Hill was very happy, pinching the dragon fruit with his slender fingers for Lin Ke to lick. The other hand took the opportunity to stroke Lin Ke's chubby face, feeling extremely satisfied. Now she just wants to spend time with this clever adopted son, and she doesn't want to think about the future. Okay, you can't eat it. It's bad for your teeth. Hill held down the impatient Lin Ke and took the dragon fruit away. She paid attention and found that Lin Ke was not crying. What a good boy. Chapter 4. It's too late. Lin Ke is already 2 years old this year. In a room full of books and various research equipment, Lin Ke is assembling 2 electronic components. This scientific research room was obtained by making a wish on his 2nd birthday. Hill is very relieved that the intelligence that Lin Ke has shown now can solve the science and engineering homework of the 6th grade. It's nice for little ones to have some interest. She even thought about buying a better astronomical telescope for Lin Ke to develop his interest in astronomy next time there is a festival. No way. Lin Ke is only interested in medicine and physics. If this continues, you may not be able to find a girlfriend in the future. It's finally done. After a long time, Lin Ke took off the goggles and picked up a white disc in his hand, with a look of joy on his face. This light energy compressor is his latest scientific research achievement, which can convert electrical energy into light energy. Immediately, he took out 2 batteries and inserted them into the inlet of the light energy compressor. The 2 batteries were quickly drained, and the center of the disc lit up with sunlight, which was then diluted in the air. The conversion of electrical energy into light energy requires a sufficiently stable power source, and batteries alone are not enough. And it's too wasteful to release light energy in one go. There are still many problems. Half a month later, you devoted yourself to studying the application of light energy and created the light energy crystallization equation. Light energy crystallization equation. Make light energy undergo stable solid-state changes and condense a huge amount of light energy. 5 days later, you continue to comprehend the method of concentrating electric energy and create the equation of crystallization of electric energy. Electric energy crystallization equation. Make electric energy undergo stable solid-state changes and condense huge amounts of electric energy. Zizilala, a lot of discarded parts were scattered around. Lin Ke was busy with both hands, and a black disc was assembled. The electric energy compressor is much larger than the light energy compressor, and its structure is very complicated. After Lin Ke checked, he put on insulating gloves, fully armed, picked up the power compressor and toolbox, and went to the power room. Sister Mia is not at home today, which is a good time to show off. Lin Ke tinkered for a while, and connected the wire to the calyx-shaped interface of the power compressor. Instantly, the electric current was stably connected to the electric energy compressor. Lin Ke was overjoyed and felt the joy of being an electrician. Starting from Hill's house, a state of weak electricity quickly spread to the whole of Manhattan. A man threw a music party at home alone. The sound was deafening. Suddenly, the loud music became intermittent. Suddenly, he felt that the pizza in his hand was not good. Fack, are you impotent? The man patted the speaker vigorously, but there was no sign that the speaker was getting better. Dining room. The lights flickered. The guests who were enjoying the steak frowned and looked at the lamps above their heads. The store manager was sweating profusely and immediately ordered the waiter to go to the power room to have a look. Office building. God, don't play tricks on me. The bald programmer looked at the blacked-out computer screen with a broken face. Hey, I haven't saved yet. Why is there no power outage notice? The wailing sounded one after another. However, as the abnormal continuation of the electric energy, many people became happy again. Maybe you don't have to go to work today. The abnormal power phenomenon quickly attracted the attention of the General Administration of Electric Power. After all, their phones were about to explode. The official place has not been affected. However, due to the phenomenon of weak electricity, many private establishments directly closed down and could not continue to operate. After some reconnaissance, the General Electricity Bureau found that the original problem area was a wealthy area. Just when they were about to continue searching, a soaring electricity consumption data was reported. This time, you don't even need to check. You can directly lock on the target. Fake. Does this family live with a power-stealing monster? Hurry up and cut off the power. The chief looked at the shocking zero and screamed. The person who reported had a bitter expression on his face. There is no way to cut off the power, director. That family is not living with a power-stealing monster, but a power-stealing monster. The chief felt suffocated. Soon, the Hill family was approached by police officers from the area. Bang, bang, bang. Beep, beep. Open the door quickly. The police officers rang the doorbell and shouted again, but there was no feedback from the door. Unfortunately, they didn't have a search warrant. In America, wind and rain can enter private territories, but kings cannot, unless there is a search warrant. Hi, is that Miss Hill? Are you home now? A female police officer called immediately. On the other end of the phone, Hill was a little confused. Lin Ke squatted in the power room and could not hear the loud noise outside. Looking at the crystalline substance accumulated in the center of the disk, he felt very satisfied. After an unknown amount of time, a piece of electric energy crystallization was formed, the electric energy compressor was closed, and the translucent protective cover in the center opened automatically. The electric energy crystal is blue in color, 2 fingers thick, about half the size of a palm. Lin Ke took it out, tried it with a stun gun, and detected electricity. However, it should have nothing to do with the crystallization originally, but the residue in the crystallization process. Lin Ke has absolute confidence in his own research. At this moment, there was a noise in the house. Lin Ke. Suddenly, Lin Ke heard Hill's anxious cry, which startled him. How did Hill come back? He quickly put the crystal in his pocket and ran out of the power room. When Hill came out of the research room, he saw Lin Ke running in a hurry, dressed like a little astronaut. Immediately, Hill felt relieved. She recognized Lin Ke at a glance, knelt down to help him take off the hood, and asked, Lin Ke, what happened? No. Lin Ke pretended to be stupid. He knew that it must be because his electricity usage was exposed that Hill came back in such a hurry. But there is no way. He couldn't give up quickly becoming stronger just because of a little trouble. Hearing this, Hill spanked Lin Ke's ***. It's all like this, and you still say it's okay? Do you want to see what you are wearing? She received a call and was informed of the abnormality at home. She hurried home and ran through several traffic lights along the way, worried to death. Tell me quickly what happened. Don't lie. Hill said sternly. It should be this instrument that is stealing electricity. At this time, an employee of the Electric Power Bureau and several police officers came out of the power room, holding a power compressor in their hands. The officers at the scene looked at each other, then at Hill. Stealing electricity is a crime. This matter, I will file a criminal case with the court. Miss Hill, you will face a compensation ticket of $5.34 million and criminal liability. The employee of the Electric Power Bureau stepped forward, his face darkened, and said mercilessly, even if Hill is a beautiful woman and a rich man, so what? He can't touch it anyway. 5 million fines. Lin Ke's eyes widened. How much research equipment can this buy for him? As for going to jail, he is not very worried. First, he committed the crime. America's child protection policy is extremely abnormal, and there is no possibility of going to jail. Second, Hill is the deputy director of S.H.I.E.L.D. It would be a strange thing if this could be brought along. A few police officers stood in the 4 directions vaguely, surrounding Hill. The power anomaly is under the responsibility of the Homeland Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau. Hill took his time and showed his ID. Chapter 5. Since SHIELD reformed and eliminated the old and completely wiped out the remnants of HYDRA, Fury has been hidden in the dark, with Phil Coulson as the director. At the moment, Phil Coulson looked at the big black guy on the table, a little dumbfounded. You're saying that your 2-year-old adopted son created this electrical compression device that drained Manhattan of nearly 10 million watt-hours of electricity? With both hands gesturing the file size of the power compressor, Phil Coulson looked like you were kidding me. According to Lin Ke, so it is. Hill nodded. You mean a 2-year-old made this big thing? Phil Coulson repeated his speech incoherently, surprised. With all due respect, can he play Lego now? Hill looked at him lightly, without speaking. Suddenly, Phil Coulson felt that his hairline was higher. Are the new humans now so perverted? That's right. His nephew is only 5 years old, and he is very good at playing with smartphones. Far from being comparable to him when he was a child, the new generation is smarter than the old generation? What the hell? You are too smart. Genius. A genius beyond Tony. Hill, take me to him now. Phil Coulson took a deep breath, supported the table with his hands, and stood up excitedly. Remove your mind, Phil Coulson. Hill eyed Phil Coulson coldly. Phil Coulson stuck. Hill continued. I will not let Lin Ke get involved in these things. Phil Coulson calmed down as if he had been poured a basin of cold water. Hill is not a member of Fury's family. She is appreciated by the leaders of several countries, and sometimes she can even firmly reject Fury's orders. In terms of the right to speak in SHIELD, he, the new director, is at best on an equal footing with her. Then why did you report this to me? Because of the $5 million fine. Phil Coulson withdrew his old good-natured smile and asked with a frown. Hill put a document in his hand on the table. I apply for early retirement and activate SHIELD's family protection regulations for retired 9-level agents, executive directors, and deputy directors. After speaking, Hill turned and left, leaving Phil Coulson alone to stare at the power compressor, dazed. Mia applied for a vacation because she was going to take a doctorate degree. Hill was afraid that Lin Ke would cause trouble by himself, so he took him to the SHIELD base. Now, he is in the lounge, surrounded by a group of big sisters. This treatment is enough to make all men's eyes red. They didn't know the mess Lin Ke had made, they just thought it was Hill's adopted son, and they were immediately fascinated by his cute appearance. Lin Ke sat on Han's black silk thigh, with 2 big red lip marks on his cheeks. Simmons squatted in front of him and asked with a smile, Little Lin Ke, did you go to kindergarten this year? No, I'm only 2 years old this year. Lin Ke shook his head, looking like an adult. So that's it. Give me a hug for my sister, okay? Hearing the answer, Simmons' smile became even warmer. After speaking, without waiting for Lin Ke to refuse, he hugged him. His hands were soft, and there was a fragrance when the sun was shining on the earth. Han glared at Simmons. Fitz, who pushed the door in with a coffee tray, saw Lin Ke in Simmons' arms and gritted his teeth enviously. A female agent looked over, frowned and said, Fitz, look at what you're holding. Isn't there no Coke? Some. The Fitz coffee tray is lowered a bit to allow the Coke to emerge. Another female agent said, Fitz, you should bring some milk. Coke is not healthy. Fitz's face darkened, and he silently exited the room. In the whole SHIELD, except for the beverage, it is coffee. How can there be such a thing as milk? It's a pity for Lin Ke. He still likes to drink Coke. Little Lin Ke, tell my sister, what do you usually do at home, and who is taking care of you? Simmons touched Lin Ke's small face and asked. Immediately, the women pricked up their ears, and the fire of gossip was blazing. Deputy Director Hill, you probably don't have time to take care of Lin Ke. Could it be? It's Sister Mia. Lin Ke opened his mouth to answer. At the same time, the feeling of being pinched made him feel a little uncomfortable, so he groped back directly. This made Simmons blush. Molesting has turned into anti-molesting, which feels weird. Simmons ignored the slight strangeness in his heart and asked, Who is Mia? Mia is the nanny I applied for. I am single now, and Lin Ke is my adopted son. At this time, Hill walked into the room and extinguished the flames in the women's hearts. Director Hill. All the girls chattered. Hill stepped forward, noticed the lip print on Lin Ke's face, frowned, and looked at Han. Hill, your adopted son is very cute. Han chuckled. Her qualifications are not lower than Hill, and she is the person in charge of the SHIELD base. Definitely. Hill squatted down, tapped Lin Ke's forehead, and said softly, Aren't you willing to come down? Lin Ke smiled and slipped away from Simmons. Okay, it's time to go home. Hill held Lin Ke's hand and said, Let's play for a while. Lin Ke felt a little regretful. SHIELD is about to leave just after arriving. He also wants to meet the Hulk and Thor. Hill, let Lin Ke play a little longer, and it's time to eat. Let the little one try SHIELD's food. After all, you've been eating here for decades. Han said, That's right, Sister Hill, after all, this is where you work. At least let Lin Ke visit it. Simmons also spoke. They really wanted to stay with Lin Ke for a while longer. After all, the little guy is just too cute. Hill frowned, thought about it, nodded and said, "Okay, I'll go back after dinner." "Great." Lin Ke clenched his fists hard. Hill was speechless. Is there anything to be happy about? It seems that I have been close to Lin Ke for too long, which has caused him to have less contact with the outside world. Let Lin Ke go to kindergarten, but Lin Ke is firmly against it. Hill thought a lot in his mind, and led Lin Ke to the dining area, followed by a group of Yingjianyans. Don't blame them all for women. The ones who play well with Hill are usually women. Moreover, women have maternal love. What do men have? Let those men come over. It will hurt the little guy. Therefore, even if there are other male agents approaching, this group of women who are full of emotions will deliberately not talk to each other and make the other party cold, so that they will naturally know that they are going to leave. I have to say that SHILD's food is very good, including Chinese, Japanese, French, British, and Thai cuisines. Because Lin Ke is too short, Hill can only hug Lin Ke and order food around. When it comes to Lin Ke's diet problem, Hill is no longer aloof, but a bit rambling. We have good pasta here. Chicken nuggets are delicious, but you can't eat too much. Do you want some fried fish? The color looks good. Where's the base shrimp? Hill hugged Lin Ke. Simmons helped to hold the dinner plate, his expression gradually stunned. Can Lin Ke eat so much? Simmons said in surprise, holding a Hill-like dinner plate. Definitely. Hill nodded, inexplicably proud. My child's appetite is huge. Hill is really like a Chinese mother sometimes, wishing for her child to have a round belly all the time. Chapter 6. Mom Hill, why didn't I see the Hulk? Lin Ke swallowed a mouthful of steak meat and asked curiously. He wears a napkin around his neck, and Hill feeds him a mouthful of good food every now and then, like a little emperor. In an instant, Hill became vigilant. Lin Ke, the Hulk is not a safe character. Yes, little Lin Ke. Aren't you afraid? Simmons also spoke. The most popular of Avengers is Captain America, and the most frightening is the Hulk. Few children like him. I think he's cute. Can I see him? Lin Ke said with fluttering big eyes. The Hulk is cute? The corner of Simmons' mouth twitched. The rest of the girls laughed. Children are really naive. Unfortunately, the Avengers base is being rebuilt and is not with us. Han smiled and said, but Lin Ke, if you like Hulk, I can give you a postcard of it. No, Lin Ke doesn't like these dangerous people. Hill shook his head. Han frowned and said, Hill, you can't suppress the child's nature. She could tell that Lin Ke liked superheroes. Hill didn't answer, but just fed Lin Ke. Lin Ke didn't mention this anymore on his lips, but his mind was full of thoughts. It seems that the strength shown is still not enough, and Hill has not really paid attention to it. Hill wanted to live a normal life for himself, but Lin Ke knew in her heart that she was destined not to live that kind of life. If you still want to have S** at Marvel, it's no different from waiting to die. Maybe in the next second a crisis breaks out, and this universe will perish. However, with the ability I have shown, it is impossible not to attract Fury's attention. Everyone in SHILD knows how shady Fury is. I don't know how many bugs he installed in the Avengers house. The facts are exactly as Lin Ke expected. Not long after Hill left the chief's office, Phil Coulson called Fury to report the incident. Resign? Fury groaned. He knew what Lin Ke had created immediately, but he was also a little surprised when he heard that Hill was going to resign. However, it's not that surprising. The purpose of Hill's resignation is to protect Lin Ke. It seems that Hill's love for Lin Ke is really beyond compare, and he is even willing to give up his decades of working as an agent for him. Yes, sir. What should we do now? Phil Coulson said anxiously. Calm down. You are the director now. Fury woke up, and then said in a deep voice, send the instrument for inspection first. Phil Coulson froze for a moment. Isn't the focus now on Hill's resignation? However, he is an old agent for many years after all. He quickly sorted out Fury's thinking and gave a shallow wry smile. I'll go now. The call is temporarily disconnected. About half an hour later, the two reconnected. Can't read? Phil Coulson stayed in a laboratory, looking at the helpless experts around him with a look of shock. Yes, we don't understand. The gray-haired old scientist looked ashamed and felt ashamed. Phil Coulson covered his forehead with a headache, glanced at the disintegrated corpse of the electric energy compression instrument, and said, Can it be restored? I'm afraid not, sir. The old scientist was even more ashamed. They have tested the power compression function of the power compressor, and there is no problem. But the technology it uses is very novel, completely different from the current high-precision equipment, and seems to be between the future industry and the modern industry. Actually, if you give us a little more time, we should be able to analyze its structure, just like we didn't understand Chitauri's technology at the beginning. Isn't it the same now? The old scientist tries to save face. Structure? The periodic table of elements. Can I still not know it? The key is how it was created. Moreover, you haven't cracked much of Chitauri's technology, and Tony helped in the end. Okay, I see. Phil Coulson took a deep breath, glanced at the power compressor again, turned and left. This matter must be reported to Fury as soon as possible. Back in the office, he hooked up Fury's comm bureau. Fury. Things I already know, Phil Coulson. Fury's voice was as deep as ever. Phil Coulson. I feel like I've been living in his shadow. A person's talent cannot be concealed, and Hill doesn't understand this truth. On the other side of the phone, Fury shook his head slightly. Lin Ke's talent has reached an astonishing level, and the possibility of living an ordinary life is almost zero. Fury, what do you mean? Phil Coulson asked aloud. Lin Ke must be used by us, otherwise it is an unstable factor, and the threat will not be less than Hulk. Fury spoke. Phil Coulson nodded. He agrees with this statement. It is indeed disturbing for such a monster to be left alone. Then what should we do, Chief? Former Chief. Phil Coulson started asking for advice. Don't be impatient. Our opponent is that woman Hill. This matter can't be rushed. Fury didn't dare to underestimate Hill. This becomes an opponent? Phil Coulson grinned. This old boss really doesn't know how to describe him. Perhaps this is the perfect agent, facing problems without any personal feelings. Inside the car, Lin Ke stared at the Hulk star card in his hand, dazed. Suddenly, he sighed. The SHILD half-day tour ended hastily. It is impossible to say that I do not feel regretful. Hill, who was driving, pursed his lips, glanced at Lin Ke, and said coldly, "Forget what happened today. Mother Hill, I want to protect you." Lin Ke's small face was full of sadness. Hill's heart softened suddenly, and he glanced at Lin Ke. His eyes were unexpectedly mixed with relief. It seems that the little guy has also found his job in danger. There is no way. Having been together day and night for 2 years, it is impossible to hide everything. While waiting for the traffic lights, Hill visited and kissed Lin Ke. "Don't worry, cutie. I'm safe. I have decided to resign, and I will be with you in the future?" A series of question marks appeared on Lin Ke's head, and the whole person was downcast. Seeing his cute little expression, Hill chuckled. Chapter 7. Okay, I will take you to meet those superheroes in the future, but as an ordinary person, when the green light came on, Hill drove the car and said, "But I want to learn more, and I'm interested in those Superman classes." Lin Ke speaks out his inner thoughts. If he didn't go through SHILD, if he wanted to obtain biological information about Thor, Mutant, and Hulk, he could only learn hacking techniques by himself and try to invade relevant departments. Moreover, it is impossible to do the test in person, and the effect is greatly reduced. But they're really dangerous, dear. All right. Lin Ke knew that it was difficult for Hill to accept his stepping into the superhuman realm in a short time. After that, one big and one small returned home. The dangerous research room has been locked and temporarily disabled. Hill went to take a shower. Lin Ke was bored, so he lit up the sun on the balcony. He is not a person who likes to be depressed, especially after learning the sun-breathing method, so his mood quickly improved, and he even began to hum in his mouth, which is an English folk tune. This is what he studied in his spare time. With world-class savvy, his learning ability is no worse than Dachao's, and his epiphany ability is even stronger than Dachao's. While Lin Ke was basking in the sun leisurely, suddenly, he spotted a sneaky little girl walking on the street. The little girl has an immature face. Her age is between that of a girl and a girl. She is dressed like a boy, her hair is light green, and she looks around, which is very suspicious. Not long after, she walked up to Hill's family car, eyes twinkling. Suddenly, she put her palm on the handlebar, and a green aurora appeared on it. Slap. The car door is open. This is a super ability thief. Just as the little girl was about to get into the car, suddenly, a shout came from behind. "Hey, would you like some pizza?" The little girl turned her head suddenly and found a little ghost standing at the door of the villa, holding a huge amount of pizza plate in her hand. The pizza plate is about the same file size as the little devil, which looks funny. The little girl quickly closed the car door. A trace of panic appeared on her fair face, but because of her personality, she appeared calm. Da. Lin Ke walked forward swaggeringly. The little girl is too young to be a car thief. The most likely thing is to steal some money to buy some food. "Little devil, stop." Lorna looked at the tattered clothes on her body, and then at Lin Ke's young master's attire, feeling a little embarrassed. Unmoved, Lin Ke went straight to Lorna and held up a pizza plate. Please eat. At the moment, Lorna is like a little sheep cornered. The toppings on the pizza are so rich and colorful. Please eat yourself. Lorna's throat rolled, and her stomach growled. Really? Don't go back on your word. Lin Ke nodded heavily. Lorna took the pizza, eagerly tore off a piece and stuffed it into her mouth. Her beautiful cheeks immediately puffed up. Can you use that trick again? Let's go eat in the car. Lin Ke said with a kimbo and a smile. Did this kid see it? Lorna is suddenly on guard. She just escaped from the mutant traffickers and is now sensitive and vulnerable. This car belongs to my family. Seeing that Lorna did not agree, Lin Ke ordered Hill's car. Ahem. Lorna choked and blushed. There's water in the car. Lin Ke scratched his head. Now, Lorna didn't say much, opened the car door with ease, and got in. Lin Ke followed closely behind, picked up the water bottle, and handed it to Lorna. Lorna took it, tightened the bottle cap after drinking, and stared at Lin Ke with beautiful eyes, with a fierce look, like a little lion. This inexplicable brat made Lorna's heart flustered. Are rich young masters like this? Lin Ke is wearing a brand-name shirt, clean and tidy, and she is completely like a person from a different world. Lorna was a little uncertain and asked, Aren't you afraid of me? Afraid of you? I can blow the steel plate with one punch now. What are you afraid of? Lin Ke was amused, shook his head and said, It's just a mutant. There's nothing to be afraid of. Lorna choked, feeling slighted. Why is this kid so weird? Don't you know that mutants are a threat to human society? Oh, really? I don't believe it. The corners of Lorna's mouth curled up, and he put his green palm in front of Lin Ke's eyes and moved his 5 fingers. Now, you must be afraid. However, Lorna found that, instead of being afraid, Lin Ke's eyes shone brightly, as if he had discovered some treasure. Are you a mutant ability? Lin Ke asked with bright eyes. Lorna. Frustrated in Lorna's heart, she put down her hands in vain, picked up a piece of pizza, stuffed it into her mouth and said vaguely, Magnetic field control. After saying this, Lorna found that Lin Ke's eyes became brighter, to a frighteningly bright level. Magnetic field control. It is not an exaggeration to say that this is another variant ability of level universe. The most famous magnetic mutant is undoubtedly Magneto. It can use magnetic force to strengthen the body, isolate external energy and matter, and can manipulate the unified field to unify gravitation and electromagnetic force to create wormholes. This ability really needs to be developed, and the mobile planet is just waiting. This is an ability that belongs to scientists. You should make good use of it. Lin Ke spoke. Lorna doesn't know why. What scientists are not scientists? She didn't even go to school. Most of the mutants, like Lorna, are rarely able to understand the mechanism of their X-factor, so they are completely helpless when faced with genetically modified food, and they don't even know what happened. Lorna was eating pizza, while Lin Ke was watching. The little abacus in his heart was crackling. Thank you for the food. Finally, Lorna finished eating with a satisfied face. Are you leaving? Lin Ke laughed. Lorna nodded, her eyes wandering. She didn't know where to go, but she knew that she couldn't stay in one place for a long time. I haven't asked your name yet. Lorna Dane. Lin Ke's eyes flashed suddenly. Sure enough, it's the childhood version of Polaris. Since I let myself meet, I must not let it go. Lorna felt chills all over her body, as if she was being targeted by some beast. Maybe it's time for me to leave. You probably have nowhere to go now. Lin Ke's eyes fell on the scratches on Lorna's body. Lorna subconsciously covered it up. Lin Ke didn't ask her how she got hurt or her background, which made her feel very at ease, and even forgot about her situation for a while. Now being asked this question, she became uneasy and hurriedly defended. I accidentally fell down. Subconsciously, she didn't want Lin Ke to know the situation of her escape. You should be. A smile hung on the corner of Lin Ke's mouth. Lorna's heart was pounding. Chapter 8 The Golden House Zhangjiao, Seeking Data. Let's run away from home. Lorna let out a long breath, almost scaring her to death. Yes, that's right. I just ran away from home. She definitely said. Since there is nowhere to go, why not go to my house? Other places are not safe, and you will be questioned by the police. By the way, my name is Lin Ke. Lin Ke's smile is sunny, like the morning sun shining on the earth. Lorna hesitated for a moment. The reason why she came here is because this is a rich area without those low-level gangs. But at the same time, The law and order in the wealthy area is very strict, and there are people patrolling 24 hours a day, so a homeless person like myself will not be allowed to exist. If he is driven out of here, he will definitely be discovered by those gang members soon. Okay, stop hesitation. Wait until Mommy Hill finishes taking a shower. While Lorna was still in hesitation, Lin Ke directly took her hand and pulled her away from the seat. Looking at the house that was getting closer, Lorna was in a daze. I have a home? Lin Ke took Lorna home, threw the pizza plate into the trash can, and hurried to the scientific research room. Lorna, use your ability to open the door. Before Hill left, the scientific research room was locked, and it could not be opened without a key. But now that Lorna is here, this problem naturally does not exist. Good. Lorna didn't think much, and the green light floated in his hand. Slap. The door opens. Lin Ke was overjoyed, dragged Lorna into the room, and closed the door. After entering the house, Lin Ke came to the light energy compressor, took out the electric energy crystal from his pocket, and inserted it into the transformation groove. What are you doing? Lorna leaned over. Lin Ke turned his head to the side, and a sharp-edged beauty came into view. His eyes were full of heroism, and he already had a bit of the style of future Polaris. A natural beauty with a strong face can kill both men and women. This is an electrical energy crystal, and now I want to convert it into a light energy crystal. I need light crystals, Lin Ke explained. At this moment, Lin Ke's super 5 senses made Lin Ke hear the movement in the bathroom and hurriedly said, Mom Hill has finished taking a shower. You are here. Don't be found. I will send you food. After Lin Ke finished speaking, he left quickly. But not long after, he came back and left a medical kit at the door. This is a medical kit. Remember to lock the door. Is Mama Hill a scary person? Lorna locked the door as promised, feeling uneasy. Not long after, she heard voices outside the door. Lin Ke, go take a shower. The water has been set for you. Okay, Hill Mama. Hey, you actually ate the pizza? Aren't you full at noon? Huh. Lorna leaned against the door, glanced at the medical box beside her, and her eyes fluctuated. However, she didn't use it. Because no. For her who has been wandering all year round, injuries are normal and healing is rare. I don't know what happened to the others. Lorna pursed her lips, thinking to herself. She originally wanted to join an underground mutant organization, but whoever thought that that organization was actually a bait to capture mutant? The organization looks normal on the outside, but the leader is a man-made mutant of a research institute, which is full of confusion. At that time, besides her, several mutants were trapped in it. Fortunately, because of an unexpected power outage, they took the opportunity to escape, and they were also facing pursuit. Gotcha. Just then, the doorknob turned. Like a frightened cat, Lorna immediately shrank back. Outside the door, Hill tried it and found that there was no sign of the door being opened, so he nodded in satisfaction. Lin Ke has a lot of tricks. She was afraid that if she didn't pay attention, Lin Ke slipped in again. She regretted building such a scientific research room for Lin Ke. Time passed and night was coming soon. Hill cooked some oriental dishes plus a roast turkey. Lin Ke doesn't like Western home cooking. Don't get me wrong, it's not that he discriminates, it's just that he really can't get used to chicken mush. When will Sister Mia come back? Lin Ke took a bite of the chicken leg and asked casually. She's taking the exam, and it will take some time. What, do you miss her? Hill is dressed in house clothes and has an elegant figure. Lin Ke nodded. Having been together day and night for 2 years, he has already regarded Mia as his own. He didn't want Mia to lie in someone else's arms in the future. That's too bloody, and it's not like I don't have the ability to give Mia happiness. I miss her too, at least with her. You won't be so troublesome. Hill Song pointed to Lin Ke's forehead. I have the ability, isn't it a good thing? Lin Ke asked. Definitely is a good thing, but you're too young to handle your abilities right now. Hill snorted softly and pinched Lin Ke's face. Don't worry, I'm a real genius, all round. Lin Ke patted his chest. A genius who steals electricity? Look at you today, just like a little electrician. If I don't come back, I don't know what kind of trouble you will cause. Do you know how worried I was? That's electricity. In case you get electrocuted. Hill's eyes were slightly red. Facing Lin Ke, this 9th-level female agent of SHIELD is always very affectionate. Lin Ke sighed inwardly. That's why he was so obedient to this adoptive mother. If someone takes care of you, can you rest assured? No. Stop thinking about your dangerous experiments. All right. Lin Ke agreed with his mouth, but he definitely disagreed in his heart. However, Hill was really scared today, so I can't say more about it. Night. Hill sleeps with Lin Ke in his arms, tightly cuffed. Lin Ke secretly apologized to Ms. Polaris. In this case, he couldn't sneak out to deliver food to Lorna. A few days passed by. These days, Hill has been busy with SHILD's resignation procedures and other matters, and Lin Ke has had a lot of contact time with Lorna. In order to prevent Lin Ke from thinking wildly, Hill did not take Lin Ke to SHILD again and warned him not to do some dangerous things. In the scientific research room, Lin Ke is helping Lorna train the variant ability. A steel spoon is constantly deforming in the air. Can you have more details, pictures, and texts? Lin Ke stared at the soup spoon that transformed into a 5-pointed star, concentrating on sensing. Lorna nodded. A row of letters appeared on the pentagram. Her forehead was slightly sweating. Obviously, this is a lot of work. Chapter 9. Can it split into 2 pentagrams? Lin Ke touched his chin and said. Lorna was a little panicked and seemed to be a little overwhelmed. You can split it into 2 steel balls first, and then shape it into a 5-pointed star. Lin Ke gave advice. Lorna's eyes lit up. The 5-pointed star split into 2 steel balls, and then turned into a 5-pointed star, which was much easier. Immediately, 2 5-pointed stars fell to the ground, and Lorna also collapsed. Fortunately, Lin Ke helped her in time. This is my limit, Lorna gasped. Feeling Lorna's beating heart, Lin Ke asked, You mutants, what kind of energy do you consume? Physical strength? No, it's a kind of strength, which is related to physical strength to a certain extent, but strength has nothing to do with physical strength. Lin Ke is a young scientist with richer knowledge reserves than himself, and the opinions he put forward are also for his own good. So Lorna is willing to listen to Lin Ke's words. Under Lin Ke's training these days, she can notice that her ability has improved a lot. Lin Ke is like a master trainer who knows her situation like the back of his hand. So, the essence of mutant ability has nothing to do with physical fitness. You just spontaneously consume physical energy because of the influence of mutant ability. Why is this happening? Because the mutant ability doesn't really fit you. Lin Ke pondered. Lorna shook her head, expressing her incomprehension. I need a little of your blood, Lorna. Lin Ke said aloud. No problem. Lorna agreed immediately, and then asked suspiciously, But what are you using it for? The original injury on her body has already been treated, and it was Lin Ke who bandaged her. Now, it doesn't matter if you spare a little blood for Lin Ke. A little experiment. Lin Ke brought utensils and needles. The equipment in the scientific research room is very complete, and there are some things that even Hill doesn't know about. After the blood was drawn, Lin Ke came to the laboratory table, staring at the blood in the container with his eyes constantly strengthening. Double, twice, triple, 10 times. Lin Ke's eyes continued to focus and finally reached a shocking point. It's nothing more than a small ability after a little physique enhancement. Lin Ke is taking the all-round evolution route. This may be a bit troublesome, but Lin Ke's all-round strength will not make Lin Ke fall for some ridiculous reasons, let alone be helpless because of the combination of some third-rate heroes. Many supervillains or heroes in Marvel were defeated by people with unequal strength because they gained power by accident and could not control it. This kind of thing will never happen to Lin Ke. This way of decay is really interesting. Lin Ke quickly discovered the difference between Lorna cells and normal human cells, and began to interfere with them with light energy and electric energy. For the next 10 days, Lin Ke was either training Lorna's mutant ability, studying the X gene, or going to the balcony to bask in the sun. His light energy crystallization has been transformed and can be worn by him at any time. With the crystallization of light energy, Lin Ke felt that his physique was changing day by day, and his attributes in all aspects were gradually increasing. At the same time, Hill's affairs are almost settled, and it is estimated that within 2 days, he will become a completely free man. It can be said that it takes so long to complete a resignation procedure, which is outrageous. But there is no way. There are many people betting on Hill, and the interests involved are countless. For example, when Hill resigns, who will speak for the party behind him? This problem alone is very troublesome. It was on this day that Lin Ke had a new harvest. You have been conducting in-depth observations on the X gene for a long time, your own X gene awakening, and obtained the power of the origin of the defective-level celestial group. Defective-level celestial origin power. Derived from some great power, X ability is awakening, 0 to 1. The power of the origin of the God group? Lin Ke was shocked. He smelled something unusual. No wonder mutant is so powerful. It turns out that when the Tiantian group studied mutant, they also mixed their own power of origin into it. Where did the Tianjin group originate from? First firmament. Many people may be unfamiliar with this name, but Lin Ke still knows it better. There are 7 lifetimes in the Marvel Universe, and the god of the first lifetime is the first sky. The first firmament created the black celestial group and the colorful celestial group, and finally the colorful celestial group blew up the first firmament, and its fragments evolved into the second Marvel Universe, which has been reincarnated to the present, a total of 7 generations. Galactus is the survivor of the 6th universe. The 4 creator gods of death, eternity, infinity, and annihilation were born at the beginning of the 7th universe. Although the origin does not represent everything, there is an omnipotent universe above the Marvel multi-universe, and the first firmament is shamefully defeated by its own creation. But even so, the first firm is also a top 5 existence in the entire Marvel universe. It turns out that this is the real power behind mutant. No wonder there is a pervert in it who can kill God with ease. Lin Ke suddenly understood, and then became excited. If I can obtain the complete origin power of the celestial group, can I use this to deduce the original power of the first firmament? He was not intimidated by the powerful force, but eager to try it. Am I awakening X ability on my own? Lin Ke restrained his thoughts and began to focus on himself, thinking to himself. With his powerful mental power, he could sense that a certain ability in his body was awakening. It's just that he knows the X gene quite well, and he knows the randomness of the X gene. It may be supernatural for a moment, or it may become a street mouse and completely collapse. The first variant, ability, Lin Ke doesn't want to be random. So, he set his sights on Lorna. Such a treasure is by my side. Lorna. Being stared at by Lin Ke with such scorching eyes, Lorna felt a little strange, and her heartbeat accelerated inexplicably. Lorna, can I have a little more of your blood? Fresh. Lin Ke rubbed his hands together and said, Good. Hearing this, Lorna brushed the hair around her ear, nodded, and agreed. Lin Ke smeared Lorna's blood on his hands, using Lorna's breath of life as a primer to activate the X gene in his body. Several hours passed. Suddenly, Lin Ke felt some power sprouting in his body, and with a subconscious thought, the pin on the desk flew up. It's done. This is. Lorna's beautiful eyes widened in surprise. Lorna, my X gene is also awakening. Lin Ke said happily. He is a joy from the heart. The ability to control the magnetic field varies from person to person. In his hands, it may be 100 million times stronger than Magneto in the future. He is not exaggerating. The source of the X gene is the celestial god group, not to mention, even ordinary magnetic control, with the blessing of his understanding, will become extremely terrifying. Seeing Lin Ke so happy, Lorna's brows and eyes also curved. She hugged Lin Ke gently. Congratulations on becoming one of us. Chapter 10. Huge improvement, haha. Lin Ke was even more direct and kissed Lorna's smooth cheek, feeling that the hard work of the past 10 days was not in vain. Originally, he just wanted to study the X gene in depth and try to copy a wave, but he didn't expect his own X gene to be awakened in the process. The X gene is really amazing. Lin Ke was so immersed in joy that he didn't notice that Lorna's cheeks turned red. After more than 10 days of getting along, Lorna has already regarded this mature boy as a close friend. At the moment, I thought of the scene when Lin Ke delivered pizza when we first met, and then thoughtfully bandaged himself afterwards, and his face became more rosy. Boys and girls in America are relatively precocious, and Lorna is no exception. Perhaps, it's not bad to follow him for the rest of your life. She looked around, completely cutting off the idea of going out and wandering. Next, the two began to compare the differences between the two variants of ability. Lin Ke Awakening's magnetic field manipulation is similar to Lorna's, but there is no beautiful green light when it is released. This is also understandable. Variant ability, to a certain extent, varies from person to person. After first gaining superpowers, Lin Ke couldn't help but compete with Lorna. The results were astounding. Lin Ke's variant ability is stronger than Lorna's. Shaping, energy release, precision. Lorna can't beat it. This made Lorna a little depressed. What kind of little monster is this? He knows a lot of knowledge that he doesn't know, and now he has the same mutant ability as himself, and he is even better than himself. Seeing her gloomy look, Lin Ke smiled and said, Don't be discouraged. Your ability is stronger than mine. But the release of the mutant ability is also related to brain power. Are you saying I'm out of my mind? Lorna clasped her hands together, her tone tugging. Lin Ke was ashamed. He remembered a sentence from his previous life. Talking slack, the chest is small. Lorna is that type of girl. Surprisingly cute. Lin Ke said, Definitely not. I mean the computing speed of the brain. That doesn't mean I'm out of my mind. Lorna was even more depressed. Lin Ke shrugged helplessly. The truth is, Lorna, do you know the level of mutant? Lin Ke changed the subject. Grade. Lorna raised an eyebrow slightly. She really doesn't know this. She has never been to Mutant Academy for further study. She is completely wild. Not to mention, the current Mutant Academy has been disbanded. Seeing this, Lin Ke explained to Lorna and sorted out the information at the same time. Mutants are divided into first level, second level, third level, fourth level, and fifth level. The first level is a mutant that failed to evolve. It has serious physical defects. It may have a pig's nose and a bird's beak. It can't even take care of itself at ordinary times. Level 2 mutant doesn't have too many flaws, but the ability is very weak. It may be vomiting stomach acid or turning hair into steel needles. It's very tasteless. The third level mutant is very strong, and the flaws are minimal. You know the former X-Men. They are all 3-level mutants. And level 4 mutants, like Magneto and Professor X, can kill tens of thousands of people under special circumstances. Level 5 mutant, I only know one, and that is Phoenix, capable of manipulating molecular structures. Higher level mutants, I don't know, may appear in the future. Lorna listened carefully, nodding from time to time. Lin Ke really knows a lot. After these words, she felt that the whole mutant world became clearer. What Lin Ke is talking about is the mutant class division in the movie. He was afraid that Xiao Nizi would not understand the alpha level and omega level in the comics. Xiao Nizi's eyes are bad. She is not material for studying. So that's the case, then we should be level 3 mutants? Lorna mused. That's right. Lin Ke snapped his fingers, and the steel beside him flew up one after another. He intends to create a practice method in the future, strengthen the magnetic field to control this mutant ability, and become a 4th-level mutant as soon as possible. In addition, he also plans to ponder the origin of the power of the gods and create related cultivation methods. It's just that the power of the origin of the god group is too profound, and it may take a long time for him to come up with a cultivation method. In the evening, Hill went home. Lin Ke and Lorna discussed the mutant ability for an afternoon, and they were very excited, and they seemed to be in high spirits. This abnormal demeanor was immediately noticed by Hill, who came back late. Lin Ke, what's wrong with you? Hill looked suspiciously. Oh my God, I couldn't be happier to see Mom Hill come home. Lin Ke said in a chant that often appears in TV dramas. Hill gave him a blank look. Mom Hill, what did you bring today? Is there any pizza? Lin Ke looked left and right. Lorna loves pizza. Hill was carrying a bag in his hand. Every time Hill comes back, he brings gifts for him. Little glutton. The corner of Hill's mouth curled up. After changing his shoes, he went straight to the living room. Lin Ke followed behind. It's a good feeling. Hill's face was soothed. He put the food bag on the dining table and went to the study. Being an agent is not lost because of Lin Ke's gag. She wants to check the surveillance video at home. As if she didn't know her intentions, Lin Ke boldly climbed onto the seat and untied the food bag. Immediately, it was pizza. And it's a deluxe ham and cheese pizza. Yesterday I said I wanted to eat pizza. Hill brought it back today. She is really a good woman. In the study, Hill looked at the surveillance video covered by the balloon. His pretty face darkened, obviously angry. Link. There was an angry voice next to his ear, and Hill appeared at the head of the stairs. Lin Ke staggered in fright, almost fell off the table, stuffed a piece of pizza into his mouth, and hurried away. Naturally, he was faking it. With his physical coordination, it was impossible to fall, but he just wanted to calm Hill down. Hill immediately gave chase. She knew that Lin Ke would not listen to things like standing still. After chasing around the house a few times, Hill finally grabbed Lin Ke's fate by the back of his neck. Say, what did you do at home today? After chasing for a few laps, Hill was a little short of breath, but Lin Ke still looked okay. Did not do anything. To be honest, Hill, I need my privacy. I can assure you I'm not doing anything dangerous. In America, it is not a big deal to call parents by name directly. However, Hill was still a little angry. She felt that the child was alienated from herself. She is only 2 years old and needs a private space. As a mother, I am a bit of a failure. Hill doubted himself a little, and finally said like an ultimatum. Tomorrow, my work will be completely over, and then I will take you to Miami for a tour. Fury, what are you doing, Fury? Don't you have a strong desire to control? Facing a genius like yourself, are you really not tempted? Lin Ke thought. If it doesn't work, tomorrow it will only be able to display the variant ability. Definitely can't leave New York. Ultron is coming next year at the most. He didn't expect to just stare blankly. If he had access to SHIELD now, he could even cut the flame right at the source. It is true that his current strength is not weak, but after all, he has not reached the level of covering the sky with one hand. Maybe he gave himself a mutation or something that could quickly increase his strength, but that would be too stupid and completely harmful. Let me ask, who would want to be a demon heretic if he could become the patriarch of Sanqing Taoism? Chapter 11. Be good tomorrow. Don't be a monster for me, understand? Hill is full of dignity. Lin Ke nodded obediently, looking like an honest child. The next day, seeing Hill driving away, Lin Ke stepped into the house, blocked the camera, and called Lorna out. Lorna went to take a shower, wrapped in a bath towel, and her whole body was like a hibiscus. During this time, Lin Ke had already heated up the pizza, and the two began to eat happily. It doesn't matter to Lin Ke whether he eats more or less, as light energy can supply all the nutrients he needs, and he mainly enjoys such a process. As for Hill's exhortation, he has long since thrown it out of the blue. Lorna, if you want to improve yourself quickly, you should eat less of these foods before I develop the cultivation method. Lin Ke looked at Lorna's bulging mouth and said with a chuckle. Oh? Lorna gave a puzzled look. Is Lin Ke making fun of himself? Afraid of getting fat? Currently, all the genetically modified foods in the market contain ingredients that inhibit the X gene, Lin Ke explained. Lorna's eyes widened suddenly, and she asked eagerly, is this true? I don't need to lie to you. This is an element that I accidentally discovered when I was researching grains. Lin Ke made up a reason at random. Lorna was short of breath and thought of a lot in a flash. There is no doubt that this is a conspiracy against mutant. Can I announce this matter? After a long time, Lorna asked. In this way, the news will inevitably be blocked. And, part of the mutant, does want to live a normal life. Lin Ke shook his head and said, if you really want to tell this news, it will definitely attract the attention of Big Shot, and the trouble will not be small by then. But there are many people who don't want to be ordinary people. There are still many mutants who are being persecuted and are powerless to resist. Lorna looked angry. Actually, this is because Lorna is young, so I'm exaggerating. The widespread application of genetically modified foods has caused Wolverine to linger on, causing Professor X, who is committed to human peace, to lose control and spend the rest of his life in regret. Didn't know they ever saved the world. And the mastermind behind the scenes is not to prevent the harm caused by mutant or something. On the contrary, they want to control mutant in their hands. There are countless laboratories where mutant is imprisoned. Little Wolf Girl, Deadpool is a product of it. There is more than one black hand behind the scenes, and they all cover the sky. Organizations like Hydra will definitely not lack research on mutants, and forces like the military, Sentry Secret Service, and Essex Corporation are simply mutant killers. Lin Ke sighed. Lorna, if you want to attack the enemy, you must first clench your fists. If you want to change this situation, follow me to practice and work hard to become stronger. The shackles of the times, only power can break them. Lin Ke's words are very meaningful. Lorna was silent for a moment, clenched her fists and gritted her teeth. I will definitely become stronger. Lin Ke nodded secretly, just to stimulate Xiaonizi's heart to work hard. The ability of magnetic field manipulation is really strong. He doesn't want Xiaonizi to waste the ability. Meanwhile, the other side. Hill finished the final handover work and moved the few remaining salutes to the trunk. A bunch of old SHIELD employees are seeing off. Hill, I never expected that one day you would leave SHIELD. Hill, it has been a pleasure working with you over the years. We have been guarding the world in secret, through ups and downs. Thank you for your company. Hill, when you're free in the future, don't forget to buy us a drink. Take care of yourself. Looking at the passing car, Phil Coulson looked embarrassed. Hill is really gone. It made him uneasy. He stayed away from the crowd and whispered into the pin microphone on his chest. Director, that lady really left. Okay, I already know. I will contact you later. Call off. Phil Coulson looked uncomfortable. He felt that he was really not suitable for this job. He should lead an agent team instead of being the director. Just dealing with those senior officials of the United Nations is enough to give him a headache. Now, another veteran agent has left, which is simply worse. I won't play SHIELD to pieces, will I? Phil Coulson quickly shook his head, dismissing the ridiculous thought. Avengers Base, a futuristic basement. Fury's expression was deep. Looking at a crystal of electric energy, the light in his eyes flickered. No one could have imagined that the former SHIELD director would come to this unfinished Avengers new base built by Tony. And what he held in his hand was exactly the crystallization of electric energy compressed by the electric energy compressor. Without the slightest bit of energy leaking, it is like a perfect creation. It is hard to imagine that this is a scientific research achievement of a 2-year-old child, and he is the only one from the beginning to the end. If this process is used in nuclear reactors, can it usher in the age of nuclear energy? This cross-age technology, Fury can't guarantee that he can grasp it. Well, I just heard the call. Hill seems to have left SHILD. Banner was standing aside, looking a bit naive with his eyes on. Hill is gone, and his adopted son will definitely not join SHIELD. What's the use of taking so long? Fury came over a few days ago and asked him to help with the research on the electric energy compressor. This new type of instrument has aroused his strong interest as a scientist. After a few days, he has figured out the composition and operation of the instrument, but he couldn't figure out what kind of technology was used. A plus B becomes C. He has no way of knowing the process of this addition. To be able to do this is already considered Banner's IQ is extremely high, and ordinary people will only be like that SHILD scientist, unable to even recover. Fury didn't answer Banner's question, but instead asked, "Don't you think that people like Lin Ke, left alone, are a huge amount of threat? You're going to kill him." Fury, he's just a 2-year-old. Banner screamed. Fury's face darkened. Why are you looking at me like that? Am I really that bad? Shut up, Banner. I mean, Lin Ke has to join SHILD. Fury blew his beard and stared, but his tone was firm. Banner spread his hands. But Hill is leaving. She'll be back. Fury said in a deep voice, Banner, let me ask you. If this energy enrichment method is applied to nuclear energy, is it possible to create civilian nuclear energy? Banner thought for a moment and said professionally, I think there is a possibility, but more tests are needed, and how to use the energy in this crystal is also a problem. It is too stable. Then, Hill must come back. Fury pulled out his phone, his one eye shining brightly. Chapter 12, Gravitational Magnetism, but Crisis. Beep 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 in the car, the phone vibrated. Hill glanced at it and found that it was a call from his life, and the number was unfamiliar. Hill, it's me. After connecting the phone, Fury's voice came from the other end of the phone. Hill took a helpless breath, rubbed his temples and said, Fury, I've been bored enough these 2 days. I hope you don't bother me. The busyness of these days has made her very tired. If she didn't want to finish her resignation quickly, she would have taken a sick day. I already know about Lin Ke. I hope you don't leave SHIELD. Fury said calmly. If that's all you say, then I'm going to hang up. Hill's voice was cold and unmoved. Lin Ke's ability is dangerous. We all know that. Can you guarantee that you can supervise Lin Ke 24 hours a day? What should you do if he secretly conducts experiments while you are away? Let Lin Ke come to SHILD, under our care, and conduct research reasonably. This is the best way to be foolproof. I've freed up Phil Coulson for an ecosystem where Lin Ke can live happily, physically and mentally. Do you want a Superman to live a life of commuting to and from get off work every day with ordinary people? Then he will eventually go crazy. Since talent cannot be suppressed, it should be released as much as possible. SHILD is Lin Ke's home. Slap. Hill turned off the call. She didn't want to hear anymore. To turn off Fury's phone, only Hill and Tony dared to do it. Hill didn't want to pay any attention to that black corned egg, but his words still had an impact on Hill. Is suppressing Lin Ke's ability really a good thing? I want Lin Ke to live a normal life, but Lin Ke doesn't seem to want it. If one day, Lin Ke encounters an extraordinary event, but he has no ability to resist, what should he do? She didn't dare to think about it. Damn Fury. Hill cursed under his breath. Knowing what kind of trick Fury was using, she still couldn't avoid being hooked. Just when she thought it was over, a video was sent. There is no doubt that the video was sent by Fury. Hill didn't want to watch it, but he was afraid that it might have something to do with Lin Ke. After hesitation, he clicked on the video. A minute later, the accelerator roared, and Hill's car was speeding like a phantom. The phone was thrown on the passenger seat. I saw a video playing on it. On the balcony, a kid was playing with a girl. The girl had a green light on her body and seemed to be trying to walk on the wall. Going back this time, I have to F*** K Lin Ke's a***. Lin Ke had no idea that a but crisis was coming. He is now instructing Lorna on the wall walk. This kind of training has been carried out for several days. Every time Lorna fails, she must tell Lin Ke about her experience, so that Lin Ke can compare and analyze. Okay, stop Lorna. Lin Ke spoke and called Lorna to stop. Lorna jumped off the wall neatly. Is it okay? she asked. Lin Ke nodded, his eyes sparkling. Contrasted with himself and Lorna, his understanding of magnetic control is skyrocketing. Suddenly, there was a strange fluctuation in his body. Lorna's eyes were fixed, and she felt a special magnetic force. You observe the operation of the magnetic field in different situations, and you have realized something in your heart, and your control over the magnetic force has been greatly improved. You have a deep understanding and in-depth analysis of the magnetic field transformation, combined with the idea of a unified field in your mind. You have an epiphany and created gravity, Xuanxi gravity. Build a unified field with magnetic force, and control one of the four natural forces, universal gravitation, TSK. The potential of magnetic field control is indeed terrifying. Lin Ke digested the epiphany information, speechless for a while, waiting for him to create the other three subsidiary fields of natural force, and then increase the ability controlled by the magnetic field. It will not be difficult to restart the universe. At that time, matter, space, and time will all be under his control. What's wrong, Lin Ke? Lorna looked concerned. Nothing. Lin Ke came back to his senses, looked at Lorna, and suddenly felt that it was necessary to develop an enlightenment-type skill. It is difficult to express Xuanxi gravity orally, unless Lorna has the savvy he has, and can understand something from just a few words. He will not be stingy with the teaching of exercises, because it is impossible for anyone to catch up with his cultivation speed. Definitely. He would not speak out about fundamental methods such as the sun-breathing method, because there is a possibility of being targeted by others, thus revealing flaws. Moreover, we have to find an opportunity to strengthen Hill's strength. It doesn't require too much. Just tear Winter Soldier with your hands and kick Captain America with your feet. I feel like you're hiding something from me. Lorna pouted her lips. She didn't want Lin Ke to hide anything from her. From her point of view, the two of them were already one, and she would never be able to harm him. Lin Ke scratched his head and said, "You will know later." All right. Lorna laughed happily. She believes that Lin Ke is not lying to her, but has something hidden, which is inconvenient to say now. Lin Ke began to test Xuanxi gravity, and his body gradually floated up. Wow, Lin Ke, you are flying? Lorna was shocked on the spot. What kind of game is this? Lin Ke nodded. As I said, magnetic field control is a scientist's ability. Xiaonizi was hit by Lin Ke again, and felt like she had become a little waste. I'll teach you later. Lin Ke floated in front of Hannah and touched her head as a sign of comfort. The feeling of manipulating gravity is amazing. Combined with the magnetic field, it seems to be able to control everything. Chairs and flower beds also flew up. Obviously, they do not contain iron. I do not want it. Lorna put her hands on her shoulders, very arrogant. Just then, a red Porsche appeared in the distance. Lin Ke's eyes were sharp, and he saw Hill in the driver's seat at a glance, and Hill was also looking at him with evil eyes. It is true that Lin Ke is sure that someone is watching him and deliberately exposing Lorna and himself, but now that he has been caught, he still feels a little guilty. Your mother is back. Lorna broke in instantly and slipped into the house like a rabbit. She knew Hill's car. Lin Ke landed and followed closely behind. The floating tables, chairs, and benches returned to their original positions as if spiritually. Squeak, the car stopped, and Hill stepped out, aggressively. She hurriedly opened the door of the villa without changing her shoes and walked quickly to the living room, where she saw Lin Ke, who was watching TV. Lin Ke, Hill's willow eyebrows were erected, and he was completely different from the calm look in the past. Lin Ke huddled into a ball with guilty conscience and didn't gnaw. Lin Ke, who was that little girl on the balcony? Hill pressed. You mean Lorna? That's my new friend? Hey Hill, do you even care about that? I need my privacy. Lin Ke said in disbelief. Another private space. Hill's face flushed with anger. Today, I will let you know what private space is. As she spoke, she sat on the sofa and pressed Lin Ke on her lap. What are you up to? Lin Ke had a bad feeling in his heart. In the next second, the bad feeling came true. As soon as his butt was cold, his pants were pulled down. Immediately, he panicked and shouted, I ate Indian food in the morning. You don't want to taste the power of my butt. Chapter 13 Lin Ke. Come out. Mom Hill wants to see you. Hill's face was livid, not afraid of the threat of spray, and his white palm was heavily printed on Lin Ke's ***. Snapped. Private space, right? Lin Ke didn't feel pain, but felt very shy. Snapped. Even Hill's mother doesn't bark anymore. Snapped. You bad boy. Snapped. Let you be naughty. Snapped. Let you lie. Hey, just to clarify, I didn't lie to you. It's good that Lin Ke didn't talk hard, but when he talked hard, Hill slapped him even more fiercely, and his white slap made waves of flesh on his buttocks. Lin Ke did not lie to her, but he is very ghostly. Even if he doesn't lie, he still has nothing to do with being honest. Papa. Hill raised her hands and dropped her hands. After venting her anger, she found that the fight was quite enjoyable. Lin Ke's skin is very smooth and tender, and feels very good, like a piece of solid eraser. However, when she saw that the little but was turning red, she stopped. Do you know you're wrong? Hill is vicious. Immediately, Lin Ke recalled the fear of being dominated by his mother in his previous life. However, Hill is not his biological mother after all, so it may not be impossible to fight back in the future. But now, I can only give in. He twisted his face and nodded. Snort. Hill snorted proudly. Replaced by ordinary children, and now they are crying. But Lin Ke has never cried since she was a child. Hill sometimes really wonders if there is an adult soul lodged in Lin Ke's body, because sometimes he behaves too maturely. But even as an adult, it is impossible to have the IQ of Lin Ke. Therefore, Lin Ke can only be judged as a genius who can shock the whole world. Taking a deep breath, Hill calmed down and his eyes became serious. Lin Ke put on his pants, knowing that the final exam was coming. Lin Ke, do you want to live an ordinary but safe life, or an extraordinary but dangerous life? Hill asked seriously. Definitely is not an ordinary life. Besides, who said that ordinary is safe, but not ordinary is dangerous? Lin Ke responded immediately. Superman's life is not ordinary, but who can threaten Superman? Thanos snapped his fingers, and half the people in the universe died. Who can say that being ordinary is safe? Those who follow are ordinary, those who are against are immortal. As an Oriental, Lin Ke understands this truth very well. Hill was startled for a moment, then smiled in relief. You're right. Being an ordinary person doesn't necessarily make you safe. Baby, I will not interfere with your decision in the future. No matter what you do, I will fully support you. As he spoke, Hill kissed Lin Ke on the cheek. Fury was right. Since talent cannot be suppressed, it should be released to the fullest. Lin Ke is happy to blossom. I will definitely protect you, Sister Mia and Lorna. A proud smile appeared on his face. Lin Ke wanted them to be with him forever, instead of becoming passers-by in his life. Lorna, you haven't said how you met her. Don't try to hide it from me. Hill's face changed instantly, his eyes narrowed dangerously, and he grabbed Lin Ke's face. The message Fury sent her included Lorna's profile information and why she appeared nearby. Magneto's daughter. This is a dangerous character. With SHIELD's ability, it is not difficult to investigate this point, although SHIELD is now in need of help. Mom Hill, do you remember that McDonald's pizza 10 days ago? Lorna tried to steal something 10 days ago, and I gave her the pizza, and that's how we met. Lin Ke said vaguely. Good guy. Co-author, you like to eat pizza these days, it's all because of Lorna, right? Moreover, you actually met 10 days ago. Hill added some strength with his fingers and said, Where is she now? Let her come out. Lin Ke turned to the scientific research room and said, Lorna, come out quickly. Mother Hill wants to see you. The door was pushed open and Lorna stepped out. Hill's face collapsed. It turned out that he had been hiding in the scientific research room. No wonder he didn't notice it before. Suddenly, she wanted to spank Lin Ke's *** again. Hello. Lorna looked flabbergasted, but was actually panicked to death. Now I'm meeting my parents. What should I do? Lin Ke's mother seems very fierce. Does she not like herself? Will you drive yourself away? She finally had a home, and she really didn't want to lose it. Due to mood swings, the mutant abilities began to become unstable. Lin Ke was keenly aware of this and said, Lorna, this is Hill, my adoptive mother. Hearing this, Lorna stopped brainstorming and said respectfully, Hello, Aunt Hill. Lorna, I know your business. You don't have to be nervous. Hill nodded. She doesn't dislike Lorna. On the contrary, she has some affection. Lorna is a poor child, more unfortunate than most people in the world. Lorna, we are going to move later, to a new place. What are your plans? Hill asked. Lorna looked dark. Sure enough. Do you still want to drive yourself away? I'll leave by myself. Lorna felt a cold heart, like an ice cube. Hill said cheerfully, I think you misunderstood. I mean, do you want to come with us? After being dazed for a long time, Lorna suddenly came back to her senses. Are you serious? Aunt Hill. Definitely. Hill nodded. Now that Lin Ke has decided on the future course she will take, she will not be a mother-in-law either. Rather than let Lorna be kidnapped by Fury, he might as well stay with him. That's right. Lorna really left alone. Fury will definitely make a move. Hill's knowledge of his old colleague and rival was much more comprehensive than Phil Coulson's. With Hill, the master of field control, the three of them quickly enjoyed themselves. She's in no rush to go to Shield Night. Hill cooked a good dinner. Lin Ke feasted on it, but it was Lorna who became a lady and ate in small bites, for fear of being hated by Hill. This scene made Lin Ke want to laugh. Lorna, you don't have to be restrained. Just treat yourself as your own home. Hill also saw Lorna's discomfort. Yes. Lorna immediately straightened her back, hilariously. Hill and Lin Ke looked sideways, and Lin Ke burst out laughing. Lorna glared over, with a little embarrassment in her foxy eyes. Smelly brother. What's so funny? Lin Ke. Hill squinted at Lin Ke. Now let's talk about you. Chapter 14. What can I do? Lin Ke's laughter stopped abruptly. He blinked and asked inexplicably, What's wrong with me? Hill clicked on the phone video and placed it in front of Lin Ke. In the video, Lin Ke also tried to take 2 steps towards the wall, and he walked very smoothly, which was very strange. Stonehammer. Lin Ke is also a super ability user. When did this happen? Hill asked. Yesterday. Lin Ke told the truth and added, My awakening variant ability, like Lorna, is magnetic field control. Lorna rolled her eyes when she heard this. I am different from him. Far from it. So, can Lorna fly too? Apparently, Hill saw that scene with Lin Keaton in the air. This is an ability I developed temporarily. Lin Ke explained that it means that Lorna doesn't know it yet. Hill nodded secretly. At that time, she thought she was dazzled. So, those flower beds, why were they floating in the air? There was a questioning look in Hill's eyes. Flower beds do not contain steel. How did Lin Ke do it? As the former deputy director of SHIELD, she knows Magneto's information by heart. Lorna's ability is in the same line as Magneto, and Lin Ke happened to awakening the same mutant ability. However, Magneto cannot manipulate non-steel objects. How did Lin Ke do it? Could it be that his awakening is not magnetic field control? Hill, do you know unified field theory? Lin Ke asked. You mean your newly developed ability is a unified field? Hill understood immediately. His eyes widened in surprise. This kind of expression rarely appears on Hill's face. Lin Ke found it very interesting. He nodded and said, almost immediately, Hill couldn't hold back anymore, and his mood fluctuated violently. Could she think that Lin Ke surpassed Magneto on the first day he obtained the mutant ability? What kind of little monster did I pick up? Perhaps Lin Ke is really an all-round genius, as he said. But if this is the case, will he also know a lot during the other 18-plus years? Hill didn't know where he thought, and felt a little shy. I can't sleep with Lin Ke anymore. Damn it. Did I still take a bath with Lin Ke not long ago? With the memory of this kid, he won't remember it for a lifetime, right? Lin Ke scratched his head, wondering why Hill became strange. There is no need to delay to become a superstar. Dachao can read minds. When the origin power of the celestial group is developed, a telepathy variant ability will be developed. Now, the origin power of the celestial group in his body is modeled, and can only accommodate one variant ability. It's just that this mutant ability alone is enough to kill gods. In other words, didn't the Earth just sleep a member of the celestial group? Is it possible for me to steal a hand? It's too far away to think about it now. Lin Ke, Lorna, I will take you to SHIELD later. I may need you to do some things. Definitely, if you mind, you can decline. Hill spoke softly. Taking Lin Ke to SHIELD, she has no worries in her heart. SHIELD was once her territory after all. The only worry is that Lin Ke won't be able to accept it. No problem. Lin Ke readily agreed. Seeing that Lin Ke agreed, Lorna also agreed, but her expression was very nervous. Hill noticed this and asked, What's wrong with you, Lorna? Lorna pursed her lips and said, Is it a human experiment? Hill was stunned. Why would Lorna say such a thing at such a young age? But when she thought of Mutant's current situation, she was relieved. Definitely not. Just some normal scientific research. SHIELD is an organization dedicated to peace. Hill put his arm around Lorna's shoulder, speaking softly. Looks like I'll have to have a psychiatrist show it to Lorna later. Don't worry, I'm here. Lin Ke held Lorna's hand. Lorna's eyes were flushed, and she tried not to cry. Although she is still young, she has a heavy burden on her body, that is to change Mutant's current situation. This is a strong, brave, and daring girl. 3 days passed in a row. Fury, who had been waiting for Hill's news, couldn't help feeling a little anxious. Are things really yellow? With Hill's mind, he shouldn't know that joining SHIELD is the best choice for Lin Ke, right? Could it be that women with children really can't be judged by common sense? Or is Hill playing psychological warfare with himself? Tread behind Fury, Banner walked back and forth, and finally, he asked aloud, Fury, what's going on? Does Lin Ke want to join SHIELD? Banner is also looking forward to Lin Ke joining SHIELD. One is the sympathy for researchers, the other is pure curiosity, and the third is that with Lin Ke joining, the power to guard the Blue Star will grow even stronger. Fury didn't speak. If Natasha Romanoff hadn't given it a try, she could have done a lot. Banner opened the mouth. Let her hook a 2-year-old child? Or are you going to be that child's stepmother? Fury teased himself secretly. He knew that Natasha Romanoff ate Banner to death. People like Banner are so easy to handle. However, it is absolutely impossible to use the same method to deal with Lin Ke. Although Natasha Romanoff looks passionate, there are few characters in the world who can use her emotional manipulation. And the tasks that can be completed by carnal transactions can be done by ordinary things, and Natasha Romanoff is not needed. More importantly, Lin Ke is just a 2-year-old child. No matter how good Natasha Romanoff is, no matter how insane she is, it is impossible to lay hands on a child. I seem to hear someone calling my name. At this time, there was a sound of rhythmic footsteps, and a red-haired Natasha Romanoff walked into the conference room. Natasha Romanoff? Banner stepped back ashamedly, like a shy boy. Natasha Romanoff smiled at him, then looked at Fury. Fury, we haven't seen each other for a long time. 44 days ago, we had a meeting. Fury's eyes softened. Natasha Romanoff will always be his most trusted agent. Because SHIELD is the home of Natasha Romanoff, a former haunt of Ghost. He has no doubts that Natasha Romanoff is willing to give up her life to keep this home alive. Thank you for remembering so clearly. Natasha Romanoff wore a white suit and sat down casually with a lot of flair. So, what is your purpose for coming here this time? Didn't Banner tell you? Fury said unexpectedly. Banner shrugged. I thought it was classified. Fury understood and began to explain Lin Ke to Natasha Romanoff. Listening to Fury's narration, Natasha Romanoff's expression ranged from bewildered, then shocked, to ridiculous. Fury, are you sure you're talking about a 2-year-old boy? Oh? Chapter 15. Yeah, even more shocking than the Hiroshima one. Isn't it? Banner cheered. Banner, this joke is not funny. Fury glanced at Banner. America is a country that claims to maintain world peace. All right. Banner shrugged helplessly. He just wanted to warm up the scene. If you say the information is correct, I think you should give Hill a call. Natasha Romanoff said something, and then gave a pertinent suggestion. After all, you are not the only one choosing Hill. The longer you delay, the more you will lose. That's true, but Fury always feels like he's going to be picked on by Hill. Now is not the time to weigh interests, Fury. Natasha Romanoff saw his concerns. After the Great War in New York, Blue Star was exposed to the entire civilization system of the universe. Various extraordinary events occurred frequently, and the black hands lurking in the dark were also ready to move. A few scaly claws are enough to scare people, and when they fully surface, it is estimated that there will be another crisis no less than Chitauri invasion. Fury was persuaded, but he remained calm and looked at Natasha Romanoff. You seem to want him to join us? What's so strange about that? Who wouldn't want an extra super assist in the team? Natasha Romanoff spoke bluntly, with a straight face. Banner is right. Lin Ke is a more shocking little boy than the round bullet in Hiroshima. If he cooperates with Tony, what sparks will the two collide with? If Lin Ke is taught by Tony, how far will Lin Ke grow in the future? These are all very exciting. Maybe the next time aliens invade, what greets them will no longer be guns and bullets, but a star-destroying cannon. Fury, I think you should be more concerned about that kid's future than the present. Like, what do you think about making him Tony's godson? There was a gleam of wisdom in Natasha Romanoff's eyes. Banner hesitated to speak. Is there a possibility that Lin Ke doesn't need Tony as a teacher at all? Fury and Natasha Romanoff, who are not scientists after all, don't understand the gold content of the electric energy compressor. If the electric energy in the electric energy crystal can be smoothly extracted, this will be a technology no less than the Tony arc reactor, and it will surely become one of the energy pillars of mankind in the future. Well, you convinced me. Fury sighed, picked up the phone, and dialed. Natasha Romanoff smiled with satisfaction. Banner looked excited, and finally a new colleague was coming. Fury's phone was easily connected. The other side didn't speak. Fury spoke first. It's me, Hill. Just talk about it. Hill's tone was cold. The fact that she didn't hang up the phone immediately shows that this woman has already made up her mind, but it's her tone of voice. Hey, she really was manipulated. Fury's thoughts flashed, and he said calmly, since you have made a decision, come to SHIELD as soon as possible. Decisions? I haven't made any decisions. Hill's tone remained cold. Now the right to speak is on her side, so there is no need to be polite. Okay, Hill, I took the initiative to call you. You should know what it means. Tell me your conditions. Fury chose to admit defeat, left his seat, and walked a little further. Banner and Natasha Romanoff wisely didn't keep up. I need SHIELD to help me set up a technology company. In the future, the products developed by Lin Ke can only belong to him. Fury is so frank, Hill is no longer close. Impossible. Fury flatly refused. Want to borrow a chicken to lay an egg? Is he really treating SHIELD as a charity? Then don't talk about it. Hill was tough. It is impossible to work part-time. With a trump card like Lin Ke, they can be their own bosses. Obviously, Lin Ke has the ability to be the richest man in the world. Why should he work illegally for SHIELD? Hill is also full of emotions in his heart. His cheap son may change the world and the entire human society in the future. For her, this was a surprise and a shock. As a mother, she must fight for Lin Ke's best interests. Hill, I know you have more than one choice, but you can't deny that SHIELD is the most suitable for Lin Ke. It's the safest place for him. I don't think you can make a wrong decision just because of a little money. Fury spoke eloquently, clarifying the pros and cons, and at the same time directly poking at Hill's crux, Lin Ke's safety issue. However, this is a negotiation, and Hill will not be affected by the relationship between his son and daughter. He was very calm and retorted, a little money? Wrong decision? Do you want me to report to the United Nations that you are greedy for Mexican funds to build a sub-base for yourself? Fury's face remained unchanged. This is just one of the safety measures, written in the safety regulations. Is it? Hill chuckled, his voice filled with a sense of victory. Hill, someone is already eyeing Lin Ke. Fury dropped a bombshell. What? Hill raised his voice a little. That's an organization called Rising Tide. The video I sent was released by Rising Tide. If it wasn't for our interception, the video would have circulated on the internet. You should thank us. Fury moved back to Yicheng. The two sides fell silent, and the atmosphere became very quiet for a while. Okay, I agree, but you must share technology, and you must complete at least part of the tasks we assign. In the end, Fury was defeated and the game was declared a failure. After all, he was the one who coveted someone else's son. Now he really hates in his heart, the one who picked up Lin Ke back then. Why not himself? In the future, if I want to go to those disaster-stricken areas for a few laps, maybe I can meet the next Lin Ke. Mission? I hope we're a partnership, Hill said. You're just making an investment that pays off massively. As for technology sharing, it depends on your abilities. Hill agreed in disguise. Even if the technology is not shared, SHIELD will definitely study it in private, but no matter what, the right to use the technology must be on her side. Fury said, okay, I see. What an old fox. Fury cursed inwardly. It's over. Seeing Fury approaching with a gloomy face, Natasha Romanoff smiled. Fury's expression was like this, looking at everyone with scrutiny. Fury nodded. Oh-hoo. Banner cheered. Natasha Romanoff smiled too. Fury picked up the power compressor and walked out the door. Where did you go? Banner asked. See Tony Stark. Hearing what Fury said, Banner laughed and followed. Natasha Romanoff followed suit, smiling. No matter who thinks, Lin Ke and Tony will be the best partners. Until they actually meet Tony. What? That's why you called me out. Tony was wearing work clothes and had that look on his face that you were kidding me. Any questions? Banner was puzzled. Damn it, I don't have time to play any political games with you. Tony said badly. Ask him to meet a new colleague. And it's a 2-year-old kid. What a joke. It's true that Tony Stark is a public servant. Tony, the ones who came here this time are not relatives, but powerful factions. Fury placed the power compressor on the table. Warlords. Tony found it ridiculous and said coldly, now, immediately, leave my laboratory. Tony, we know you're busy, but please take it easy. Banner spoke, trying to persuade Tony. Being talented and arrogant is Tony's main color, but this does not prevent him from having a sensitive heart, especially when it comes to disasters and wars. He has a strong empathy ability. Banner felt that Tony was still haunted by the Chitauri invasion. Chapter 16. That war had a huge impact on Tony. He, seeing life dying, can't do anything about himself. He, seeing people howling, is incapable of duplication himself. He, seeing that human civilization is in danger, facing alien civilization, is as powerless as a child. Too much burden was on Tony, and it made him feel wrong. In the past 2 years, Tony has been shrouded in a sense of crisis. He wants to create a steel army to protect the Blue Star, but no matter how he designs the armor, he is not satisfied. Fury's one-eyed flashed with sophistication. He examined Tony and said in a deep voice, "Tony, you have to take it seriously this time." "Fury, here I named it the new Avengers base. I built it. The Avengers are not your subordinates. Do you understand?" Tony didn't care what Fury was saying. "Tony," Natasha Romanoff called out. "Show me his engineer's certificate, or his study resume, or his thesis." Tony held out his palm. Anyone can see the difficult attitude. A small child, it is impossible to come up with these. Tony originally was a super genius, and he knew all too well what it was like to be a genius. What Fury said was completely nonsense. A 2-year-old child who can program is already amazing. He can make circuit boards at the age of 4, build engines at the age of 6, and enter the Massachusetts Institute of Technology at the age of 15. This is already the limit of human beings. It is absolutely impossible for someone more talented than him to appear. Mom F ***K. Fury took out the electric energy crystal, flicked it on Tony's breastplate, carried the electric energy compressor, turned and left. He saw Tony's instability. Lin Ke, not on Tony's side. Natasha Romanoff and Banner gave chase. Banner turned his head and said, "Tony, you'll regret it. Please, it's just some political maneuvering." Watching everyone leave, Tony opened his hands with a helpless expression on his face. Leaving Tony's office, Natasha Romanoff caught up with Fury and said anxiously, "Fury, I will let Tony accept Lin Ke." "Acceptance? Have you made a mistake, Natasha Romanoff?" Fury sneered. Natasha Romanoff's complexion changed slightly. "I never said I wanted Lin Ke to join the Avengers." After Fury finished speaking, he dialed Phil Coulson's phone directly, without any hesitation about the presence of Banner and Natasha Romanoff on the side. "What's the matter, Chief?" "Phil Coulson, haven't you always wanted to form a special operations team?" The old agent leader always had a plan B in mind. Natasha Romanoff stopped, frowning at Fury as he left. She felt that Tony did something very wrong today. "I'll just take a look." After Fury and the others left, Tony hesitated for a moment, picked up the power crystal that fell on the ground, and entered the laboratory. "JRVIS. At your service, sir." "JRVIS, what do you think this is?" Tony placed the electric energy crystal on the experimental bench. "Resolving." Accompanied by the polite voice of JRVIS, the scanning ray landed on the electric energy crystal. Later, JRVIS released a series of data that shocked Tony. "Are you saying that its energy closed loop has reached perfection, and the power contained in it is enough for 10,000 people to use it for a year?" Tony picked up the power crystal without any outer packaging. His eyes were incredible. In most people's perception, electricity has no weight. In fact, electricity has weight. 1 kilogram of electricity, if converted to a numerical value, can be used by all human beings for half a day. And this electric energy crystal seems to be moving in this direction. "Theoretically, yes," Jax replied. Tony's heart skipped a beat, and he quickly put down the power crystal. What if this thing explodes? He didn't know that in Lin Ke's research, safety is the first priority. Even if the electric energy crystal is accidentally damaged, the electric energy contained in it will only decay rapidly, becoming a squib and will not explode. Definitely, if someone keeps holding this thing during the decay process, they will definitely be burnt by electricity. Originally, Tony also wanted to do some chemical tests, but now he has completely given up on this idea. I don't know where Fury got this thing from. It seems that it is necessary to pay attention to it later. Don't blame him for being suspicious. He once trusted Fury, but Fury made weapons with Tesseract, which attracted alien civilization. From start to finish, Tony didn't believe Fury's ghost story. Again, there will be no more genius than him in this world. Lin Ke was leaning on the comfortable back seat of the Porsche. His small face was full of excitement. It's finally time to meet those legendary superheroes, especially Thor and Banner. One is the Lord of Asgard, and the other is the invincible Hulk who can destroy the multi-universe. Moreover, with SHIELD as the sponsor, he can get a hand in all kinds of resources in the world. The resource he wants most now is the genes in the United Nations gene bank. The United Nations Gene Bank, known as the Life Bank, contains all NDA information of paleontology, vegetation, animals, microorganisms, and humans, and there are countless samples of various types. If he can obtain this resource, Lin Ke can perfect the foundation of becoming a Superman and take a solid step towards the path of supreme evolution. Seeing Lin Ke so happy, Lorna was also happy. The corners of her pretty mouth curled up slightly. Is there anything you forgot? Hill sat in the driver's seat, turned his head and asked. No, let's go. Lin Ke can't wait. Hill rolled his eyes at him and started the car. Several camouflaged cars came out from nowhere, with guards on the left and right. These are arranged by Fury. In the eyes of outsiders, it looks like a noble sun traveling around. Lin Ke really deserves this treatment too. Are you so happy? Lorna was next to Lin Ke, and the two shared a seatbelt. Hey. Lin Ke is cheerful. SHILD is a sacred place for him to practice. After a wave of crazy practice, you can wait for the purple sweet potato essence to deliver infinite gems to your door. There are still 4 years until Thanos comes to the door. In the past 4 years, how far he can grow, he himself does not know. But when the time comes to hit a Thanos, there should be no problem, right? When he gets 6 infinite gems, those file-size villains can really go to sleep. It's not safe for a person to be strong, but to make the people around him also strong. Lin Ke glanced at Hill and thought to himself, in theory, Hill also has the potential to become a mutant, but I don't know if she wants to. Mutants are essentially no different from humans, except that they have a variant ability. In addition, the Sokovia incident will start next year at the latest. It's okay to trick a Wanda into being a babysitter, right? Lin Ke, are you looking forward to meeting those superheroes? You may be disappointed, Hill said without looking back. What's the meaning? Lin Ke had question marks on his face. SHILD is the official security service. Avengers is Avengers. We only work together occasionally. This time around, you're going to a whole new division, not the Avengers. Listening to Hill's calm narration, Lin Ke frowned first, and then relaxed. It doesn't matter. He's in no rush to study Hulk and Thor right now anyway. Chapter 17. This time back to SHILD. The old employees who greeted Hill were still the same batch of old employees who sent him away. It's just that there's one more Nick Fury. That's right. Fury himself is coming. Nice to meet you, little genius. Fury was wearing a black leather windbreaker, squatting slightly. His face seemed to be soaked in soy sauce, and he managed to pull out a kind smile. Very scary. Lin Ke took half a step back. Fury, are you serious about taking a half step back? Nice to meet you too. Lin Ke is still very polite. This is our former director. Come back and have a look this time. Phil Coulson introduced. Lin Ke nodded in understanding. Hill, we meet again. Phil Coulson looked at Hill with a smile. Everyone thought that they would not see Hill for a long time, but they did not expect to be together again after less than 5 days, and they felt a little embarrassed in their hearts. Definitely, not everyone thinks so, but one person is particularly happy. That is Hand. She looked at Lin Ke with affection and wanted to hug Lin Ke and pamper her. Sensing her gaze, Lin Ke turned his head and gave her a cute smile. Auntie Hand? Immediately, Hand felt his heart was about to melt. He has been so cute and handsome since he was a child, and he will surely deceive many girls when he grows up. She leaned down and pinched his face under Lin Ke's speechless eyes. We meet again, little Lin Ke. Let's go in first and talk. Hill is full of momentum, as if he has returned to his own home. Definitely. Phil Coulson immediately walked in front to greet everyone. A group of people step into S.H.I.E.L.D. An old agent looked at Lorna. This is Lorna, and will be one of us. Hill held Lin Ke with one hand, stroked Lorna's shoulder with the other, and said calmly, some agents know Lorna's identity, while others don't. After listening to Hill's words and everyone's conversation, Fury was not distracted, and his eyes kept falling on Lin Ke. He found that Lin Ke had a steady pace and a strong body, not like ordinary children. Furthermore, his demeanor is very calm, although his eyes are full of curiosity, but he will not be startled. As he walked down a metal hallway, Fury suddenly broke into a smile. Little guy, we've built a team for you, and I think you'll like it. After he finished speaking, he began to lead the way. Lin Ke's eyes lit up, and he quickened his pace. Under the guidance of Fury, everyone walked through an ecological garden and came to a research institute integrating life and scientific research. This place is specially prepared for you. Do you like it? Fury laughed. On the side, Phil Coulson also smiled. This is the Special Operations Team. and you will be one of them in the future. Lin Ke is naturally satisfied and couldn't be more satisfied. Such a big battle undoubtedly shows that SHIL the attache's great importance to him. It seems that the previous exposure behavior was very effective. Originally, it was not easy for Fury, the black stewed egg, to show up. Hill, you will be the captain of the Special Operations Team from now on, Phil Coulson said sincerely. This was discussed with Hill long ago. It is definitely not appropriate for Lin Ke to go to an ordinary scientific research department. So he created a special operations team specifically for Lin Ke, and the people who will enter it in the future will also be some strange talents, who are specially responsible for scientific research and creation and exploration of unknown fields. Come with me now to meet your new teammates. Phil Coulson had an enthusiastic face. Hill let go, and she, Fury and the others had other things to discuss. Lin Ke and Lorna followed Phil Coulson to go deeper into the institute. In the workshop, Simmons was arguing with Fitz. Suddenly, the two heard footsteps and looked over in unison. Phil Coulson, Lorna, Lin Ke walked in. They're always so enthusiastic. Phil Coulson told a bad joke. They heard the quarrel between the two outside. Lin Ke. Seeing Lin Ke, Simmons ran over and hugged him. Lin Ke has been washed by light energy all year round, and his temperament is holy and clear, like the warm sun in early spring, and his appearance is impeccable. The combination of the two is really murderous. Lorna frowned, a little unhappy. Lin Ke is hers. Hi, Simmons. Lin Ke greeted calmly. Why did you appear here? Simmons squatted in front of Lin Ke with an intimate look. Then, she seemed to be thinking about something, and said in shock, could it be that the old acquaintance director Phil Coulson mentioned is you? Are you our new member? Fitz pouted. How can it be? This kid looks very ordinary. At most he looks better. However, just as he thought this way, Phil Coulson nodded. That's right. He admired the shocked expressions of the two and continued. The electric energy compressor was invented by Lin Ke, and he will be your vice captain in the future. After speaking, he looked at Lin Ke and introduced Fitz and Simmons. Simmons, majoring in biochemistry. Fitz, specializing in construction machinery. Lin Ke, the two of them need to take care of your experiments in the future to avoid any mistakes. Fitz and Simmons are also genius scientists of S.H.I.E.L.D. Fitz hadn't recovered from the shock when he heard that he was going to lay hands on Lin Ke. He immediately expressed suspicion and resentment and said loudly, Phil Coulson, I seriously doubt the correctness of your decision. As he spoke, he pointed to the electric energy compressor beside him. This is a cross-generational work, and it is absolutely impossible to come from the hands of this brat. Hey, Fitz, watch your manners. Simmons frowned. This appearance will scare little Lin Ke. I think it's a joke. However, Fitz Science Geek's temper flared up, and he didn't intend to listen to persuasion. It doesn't matter. Lin Ke waved his hand graciously. I'll just make another one, and it will be my gift to S.H.I.E.L.D. Whether it's a joke or not, you'll find out later. This is the most direct proof of his strength, simple and trouble-free. Please tell me what you need. Phil Coulson's eyes lit up. Could he witness the manufacturing process of the electric energy compressor with his own eyes? Fitz wanted to say something, but was stopped by Phil Coulson raising his hand. Lin Ke talked about a series of materials that need to be used, and Phil Coulson immediately asked people to prepare them. Simmons, I think Phil Coulson is out of his head. Fitz took an opportunity to pull Simmons aside and whispered. Simmons glared at him and said, maybe Lin Ke can really do it? Fitz was speechless. Being able to say this, it seems that Simmons has been completely confused by Lin Ke's masculinity. You are not a science and engineering major. You don't understand. Fitz frowned. Simon suddenly became angry. I talked to you about feelings. You talk to me about theory? This is the old problem of many love fools, and they will offend the one they love. We bet. Simmons gritted his teeth. His eyes were serious, like a cat with fur fried. What bet? Fitz's eyes lit up. Without knowing it, he had offended Simmons. Chapter 18. 1-month meal card usage right. Simmons said. Then it's settled. Fitz happily agreed. If he can lose, he will be killed on the spot. Simmons, you are bound to lose this time. Just wait and hand in your meal card obediently. Fitz was triumphant. He has studied the electric energy compression instrument and just studied the packaging design of the surface layer, which almost burned his brain cells. He never believed that this would be Lin Ke's creation. You better hope that I win. Simmons looked intently. Fitz shivered suddenly. This woman, wouldn't she not only deny her account, but also beat her up? He felt that if he won the bet, there would be no good end. While the two were whispering, the materials were ready. Lin Ke randomly found a test bench and started to operate it. Fitz immediately walked up, fearing that Lin Ke would cause trouble, and when he was about to give some pointers, he found that Lin Ke's operation was extremely proficient. This is definitely. Lin Ke has read about how to use these instruments on the internet. Seeing the real thing, he deduced it a little bit, and the relevant knowledge rushed over. It has to be said that SHIELD is SHIELD with strong capital. The equipment he applied for were all top-notch products. SHIELD did it all in less than an hour. Lin Ke is very satisfied with this. Lin Ke, can I do the filming? Looking at the busy Lin Ke, Phil Coulson said cautiously. No. Lin Ke firmly refused. He had heard from Hill that all his research was for sale. Phil Coulson smiled mischievously and watched from the sidelines. Not long after, he asked again, how long will it take? Lin Ke estimated. Half an hour. It took him about 3 days to tinker with an electric energy compressor at home, but now with the assistance of these high-tech equipment, half an hour is enough. After all, for him, this is not a difficult technique. Can you see his movements clearly? Fitz bumped Simmons with his elbow, his face blank. I saw Lin Ke dancing his hands like a phantom. The whole process sparked with lightning and mixed with chemical fluorescence. He remembered that his duty was to supervise Lin Ke's work. How do you monitor this? Simmons was also very surprised, but immediately, she looked excited. Maybe Lin Ke can do it. Is this what a genius looks like? Phil Coulson feels that Lin Ke looks like a different person now than before. Are all geniuses doing scientific research like this? You really think I've never seen a genius, right? Phil Coulson's heart was as if there were 10,000 grass and mud horses galloping, and it was scribbled. This time, SHIELD really found a treasure. The director's eyes are indeed vicious. As time passed, the electric energy compressor gradually took shape, and Fitz's expression was already full of respect. You're done. Lin Ke clapped his hands and stood on the workbench with his hands on his hips. Although he didn't sweat much, his face was slightly red. Obviously, he was a little tired. Simmons was so distressed that he quickly brought water to feed Lin Ke. Lorna folded her hands and leaned against the wall, smiling. She is very satisfied with Lin Ke's outstanding performance. In America, the ones who stand out are the strong ones, and the rest are scumbags. Lin Ke, is it finished yet? Phil Coulson came closer. His eyes couldn't stop glancing at the power compressor. Lin Ke nodded. Perfect creation. Fitz exclaimed. The power compressor was shiny, and he was afraid to touch it. It seems a little different from the original one. Phil Coulson looked at the new version of the electric energy compressor and said somewhat unclearly, Director, the power compressor this time is definitely better than the previous one. Before Lin Ke could speak, Fitz took up the conversation excitedly. Look at this integrated package. I can guarantee that most scientists don't even know how to disassemble it. Phil Coulson rubbed his nose in embarrassment. This he definitely knows. The original power compressor could not be restored after it was dismantled, and it was the director who entrusted Banner to restore it successfully. You have good eyesight. Lin Ke glanced at Fitz unexpectedly. Thank you for the compliment. Fitz blushed. Now, he has completely become Lin Ke's fanboy. Simmons rolled his eyes at his typical science geek behavior. Phil Coulson, I heard that there is a lot of movement here. At this time, Fury and Hill walked into the research room. Both of them had spring breezes on their faces, and they were obviously satisfied with the outcome of the negotiation. Phil Coulson quickly reported the good news. Director, come and take a look. This is Lin Ke's new electric energy compressor. How many times have I said it? Now you are the director. Fury walked closer and asked, Is this what Lin Ke just made? Right. Phil Coulson nodded heavily. Lin Ke's ability was confirmed again, causing Fury to grin his mouth wide, revealing his white teeth. Lin Ke, why do you want to make a power compressor? Can you tell me? Fury stared at Lin Ke with one eye, full of admiration. He no longer treats Lin Ke as a child. From the observations along the way, Lin Ke already has a very mature mind. For fun. Naturally, it is impossible for Lin Ke to say that the purpose is to convert it into light energy and then use it for cultivation. Fun? Fury's mouth twitched. He wondered if there was a deviation in his psychological profile. Could it be that Lin Ke is really just a naive child? Fury was a little uncertain. His one-eyed flashed a dim light and said, Lin Ke, you should know the purpose of our inviting you here. After our tests, electric energy crystals can't export energy, so it doesn't matter to us. Useful. Do you understand what we mean? Lin Ke is the creator of the electric energy compressor. and he is the one who knows its function best. Whether there is a possibility of realization depends on what Lin Ke said. Otherwise, if it is just a pure science and technology, the value of the power compressor and Lin Ke originally will be greatly reduced. Hearing this, Lin Ke waved his hand and said indifferently, Mother Hill told me about it. You want to crystallize electrical energy into a stable energy source, right? I can do it, but it will take a while. The energy industry is indeed profitable. If a little effort can bring countless benefits, then Lin Ke is happy to do it. In this world, money can solve most problems, and Lin Ke definitely won't dislike it. Speaking of which, with his current ability, being the richest man in the world is quite easy. How long it takes? Fury's eyes lit up. At the moment, all eyes were on Lin Ke. Lin Ke pondered. If it is for civilian use, there are many aspects involved. After a while, he said, 10 days. Instantly, there was a gasp in the scientific research room. No one doubted Lin Ke's words. Even Phil Coulson, who doesn't know much about scientific research. After watching Lin Ke's operation of making the electric energy compressor, he has regarded Lin Ke as a god. Chapter 19. It's a deal. After getting the answer, Fury's heart beat wildly. He couldn't understand the current world structure well. To sum it up in 4 words, energy is king. If the utilization rate of electric energy crystallization can reach 30%, it is enough to create an energy empire other than Arabia. If the utilization rate of electric energy crystallization can reach 50%, a small country can grow to the position of world hegemony. If the utilization rate of electric energy crystallization can reach 90%, okay, the pattern of the whole world will change. Blue Star will usher in a new era. Tony's arc reactor is expensive and cannot be popularized on a large scale. But electric energy crystallization is different. Only electricity is needed. This is a technology that can be truly used by civilians and may replace oil in the future. Hill. Fury looked at Hill. Don't even think about it. Hill knew what he was up to. Fury's face darkened. This old colleague really doesn't show any affection at all. It seems that he can only buy stocks after the public and private listings. That's right, Hill registered a company for Lin Ke. The name is Lin Ke Industry, which is very simple and rude. The original funding came from multiple ventures that were hidden from Shield borrowing the chicken and egg model. Fury shouldn't play it too skillfully. In this company, Hill mother and son hold 51% of the shares, Fury holds 7% of the shares, and SHILD holds 7% of the shares. The remaining shares will be circulated in the market. Fury has already made plans to buy shares frantically as soon as Lin Ke Industry is listed. People, always save some retirement money for yourself. I'm not talking about shares. Fury forced himself to find a step and said, I want to ask Lin Ke, how about the conversion rate of electric energy crystallization, which determines the upper limit of a product? Simmons and others don't know why. Lin Ke listened, rubbed his chin, shook his head and said, I definitely can't use all my skills at once. 5% of the first stage of level 1, 10% of the second stage, 30% of the third stage. Let's do it step by step. Is this really an imp? He knows so much about the business model. Fury's jaw almost dropped from shock. As an agent, he was calm, and his body was bruised from the blow. He looked relieved. My child really grew up and became sensible. Well, Lin Ke seems to be quite sensible all the time. Hill took Lin Ke and hardly bothered. Son, leave these to me. You just need to do what you like. Hill spoke softly. Lin Ke secretly smiled. He actually underestimated this old mother a little bit. Hill is not an idiot, and he must know the danger of handing over all the technology at once. After mentioning it a little bit, Lin Ke didn't say any more. Simmons and Fitz were at a loss throughout. What are they talking about? How about a company for a while and a product for a while? Okay, I won't bother you anymore, Fury said, looking like he was about to leave, and then he suddenly seemed to think of something and said to Lin Ke, by the way, I originally wanted you to cooperate with Iron Man, but he doesn't seem to think highly of you, sorry. You obviously like superhero very much. Fury is putting eye drops on Tony. At the moment's Fury looks like green tea. I see. Lin Ke heard the provocative meaning in his words and smiled lightly. Iron Man. A little bit of arrogance is normal. Fury is gone. Phil Coulson muttered a few words and left too. Simmons quickly stopped him, wondering, Phil Coulson, what were you talking about earlier, the company? Who wants to start the company? Phil Coulson has long known about the Lin Ke industry. At this moment, he patted Fitz on the shoulder and kindly reminded, remember, you must buy the stocks of Lin Ke Industry. 10 days later, Lin Ke handed in all the test papers, feeling relaxed. and the content of the answer sheet is perfect. He built a complete commercial system around the crystallization of electric energy. First of all, the electric energy guidance technology is completed, and the utilization rate of electric energy crystallization has initially reached 70%. Lin Ke handed over all the technology to Hill for safekeeping. Secondly, the electric energy compressor has been modified by him, and now it can make electric energy crystals into 4 levels: micro, small, medium, and large. In the design, the micro supply household appliances, the small supply electric vehicles, and the medium and large supply specific industries. Among them, the most worth mentioning is the electric car. This is the idea proposed by Lin Ke, referring to Tesla in his previous life. However, due to funding problems, this project cannot be carried out at present. And considering the market, microenergy crystallization is not worth promoting for the time being. Because some household appliances can be used by others, why do you have to use your premium new energy? Therefore, the best operating model at present is to first use medium and large-scale electric energy crystallization as a selling point to attract social attention and investment. I believe that those giant crocodiles will not miss this opportunity, and there will be no need to consider funds at that time. With sufficient funds, in the name of New Age home appliances, a system of new home appliances can be marketed as key products. As long as the culture takes shape and creates a trend, no one will care about such a small premium. The most classic case is sneakers and luxury goods. It can be said that the business blueprint belonging to Lin Ke has been gradually unfolded, and the future is definitely enough to shake the whole world. These days, Hill has been busy with starting a company. There are as many as 11 subsidiary companies under Lin Ke Industry. With his connections, Hill has attracted a lot of investment. SHIELD has also contributed, and the patent has been given the green light all the way, waiting for the product to hit the market now. In fact, apart from investment, factory construction, basic personnel selection, and brand marketing are all very troublesome things. But these, with Hill around, Lin Ke doesn't need to worry about it. However, fearing that Hill would be overworked, he discussed some matters with Hill and finalized many administrative plans. Hill didn't take it seriously at first, but later found that what Lin Ke said was quite reasonable, and some of the ideas were to the point and very practical. On this day, Hill took away the last industrial technology, and Lin Ke completed his first task after joining SHIELD. He quickly called Phil Coulson. Lin Ke. Phil Coulson had an amiable smile on his face, with a little bitterness mixed in his expression. These days, he has also worked hard for Lin Ke's industrial affairs. Some other plans of SHIELD have been postponed because of this. Uncle Phil Coulson. Lin Ke said hello. Director. Simmons brings tea. As usual, Phil Coulson took care of Lin Ke's situation, such as whether he lived comfortably and whether he had any problems. Lin Ke didn't want to chat too much, and after chatting for a while, he said directly, Uncle Phil Coulson, I'm very interested in biology recently. Phil Coulson nodded in approval. From energy to biology, the span is a bit large. But Lin Ke is a genius, and it is natural to be curious about other fields. I have a small request. Lin Ke's thumb and index finger compared a fingertip universe. Haha, if you have any request, just say it, don't be polite to me. Phil Coulson took a sip of his tea, looking contented. I thought Lin Ke asked him to come here for something. Probably just want some equipment, or help him hire a biology teacher. I want to browse all the information in the UN Gene Bank. Lin Ke blinked and said, Puff, the tea that Phil Coulson had just drank in his mouth came straight out. Chapter 20. He couldn't believe it. What did you say? What's wrong with that? Lin Ke raised his eyebrows. Definitely there is a problem. It's a big problem. Phil Coulson exclaimed exaggeratedly. The purpose of the United Nations Gene Bank is to answer all medical and biological questions. European and Asian countries have participated, and it is also the base of the Human Genome Project. The purpose of the Human Genome Project is to determine the sequence of 3 billion base pairs in the human genome DNA and decipher all human genetic information. It is known as one of the 3 major projects in the world. From this we can see how important the United Nations Gene Bank is. Lin Ke, an outsider, suddenly said that he wanted to browse the information in it. How could this not be shocking? Lin Ke, do you know where that is? Phil Coulson looked excited. No. Lin Ke nodded. Suddenly, Phil Coulson was surprised. Are you serious? Otherwise, I wouldn't have called you. Lin Ke's face was calm. This matter. Phil Coulson rubbed his hands together, undecided. Lin Ke always looked calm. With electric energy crystallization as a stepping stone, He did not believe that even this requirement of SHIELD could not satisfy him. Are you sure you want to browse all the information? Phil Coulson confirmed. Lin Ke returned a positive look. Phil Coulson put his hand to his forehead and felt his hairline grow. This matter, even for SHIELD, is difficult. Because the United Nations Gene Bank is not the property of America, but the property of all mankind, and its nature has nothing to do with politics. On the contrary, it has a strong scientific atmosphere, which seems to be out of control. I can help you with this matter, but it probably will take a long time, and Hill needs to communicate. You know, she is very prestigious now, and it will be much easier with her help. Phil Coulson finally made up his mind. Hill is now in the center of the storm, and many big shots want to tie up with Lin Ke's industry. With Hill and him working together, I believe it is not difficult to access the information in the United Nations Gene Bank. Thank you, Uncle Phil Coulson. Lin Ke cheered up. He was naturally happy when he got what he wanted. He is getting closer and closer to becoming a Superman. Leaving aside the genetic information of all human beings, the accumulated knowledge in the United Nations gene pool alone is enough for him to greatly enrich his background. The benefits of this are self-evident. Phil Coulson left. Lin Ke and Simmons greeted each other and went to the training room together. In the training room, Lorna controls dozens of steel balls to form various shapes in the air. She is doing precision training in magnetic field control. Fitz was on the side, doing some data analysis. Lin Ke said that magnetic field control is an ability that belongs to scientists. Under the systematic guidance, Lorna has made rapid progress and has already reached the strength of adulthood. After all, magnetism is the building block force that makes up the universe. Follow Lorna's original path, which is a complete waste of potential. Seeing Lin Ke arrived, Lorna stopped the control immediately, and the steel ball fell to the ground. Fitz patted his forehead helplessly. Half a day of image data wasted. Does Lin Ke have such a great charm? Why do these women like Lin Ke so much? Lorna is like this. Simmons is also like this. Including Hand, who often comes to visit, they all treat Lin Ke like a treasure. Lin Ke is now completely treated as a group pet. The male agents in SHIELD are more or less jealous. They also want to be our ****D in the arms of ladies. Lin Ke, I've become a lot stronger again. Lorna was overjoyed and reported her achievements to Lin Ke. Lin Ke nodded in satisfaction. Lorna's face was very delicate. Lin Ke raised his hand and pinched her face. He was tall and could touch Lorna's face with his hand. Lorna's cold face was reddish, and she didn't refuse. Sometimes, she really felt that she was the younger one. Lin Ke, what are you doing here? Lorna was curious. Lin Ke rarely comes to the training room. Training with you. Lin Ke had a smile on his face. I've finished dealing with the matter over there. Real. Lorna's eyes sparkled brightly. Seeing this, Fitz was full of envy. This young lady is cold to everyone, except Lin Ke. Temporarily unable to go to the UN Gene Bank, but Lin Ke does not intend to waste this time. It's been a long time since he created a practice method, and he's a bit itchy. The difficulty of creating a practice method is much more difficult than physical scientific research. After all, this involves the evolution of life. 1 month later, you have been practicing magnetic field manipulation for a long time. In this environment, your control over the magnetic field has been greatly improved. You have an epiphany and created the original magnetic practice method. Original magnetic practice method. Use yourself as the base station to command all the magnetic fields in your body, and eventually the magnetic field of every cell and every particle of dust will be controlled. During this process, the variability of magnetic field control will be continuously enhanced. You combined a large number of spiritual books and your understanding of the brain domain, mastered the hypnotic ability technique, psychological suggestion technique, and created the Palace of God. Palace of God. Brain ability is enhanced, memory ability is fully liberated, and all knowledge seen can be stored in the memory palace. You have obtained the evolution of the brain domain, and the spiritual power was born in the most peaceful way, and you have naturally mastered emotional manipulation, memory installation, and spiritual attack. These 3 reminders were all received by Lin Ke one after another. Needless to say, the original magnetic training method is a proper variant of the ability training method. The Palace of Gods was specially created by him for his subsequent trip to the gene pool. To his surprise, not long after the Palace of God was created, the brain domain evolved and gained spiritual power. This made Lin Ke very happy. The power of the mental side has been enhanced, although it is not as perverted as Professor X's telepathy, but it is enough to resist the mental attacks of others. Originally, his mental strength is not weak. Just like Steve, although he doesn't know the strength of the mental side, he is full of energy and has high mental resistance. Emotional manipulation, memory installation. The power of the mental side is really amazing. You can test it first. Lin Ke pondered for a moment, gave a smirk, and found Fitz. He said that he would pass on the exercises to Lorna. Now, there is no need to create a special enlightenment technique. Lin Ke, what's the matter? Fitz was eating potato chips and was very surprised by Lin Ke's arrival. There's a new experiment to do, Fitz. Lin Ke laughed. Really? When? Fitz's eyes lit up. He has not fully understood Lin Ke's power compression technology, but people are always greedy. Now, Lin Ke unleashes emotional manipulation. Fitz should have been happy to hear the answer, but he wanted to cry inexplicably. He didn't know why, and he was very depressed. Then, he actually cried out. What happened? Fitz touched his tears with a look of astonishment. Why did you cry yourself? Are you suffering from depression? But these days, he is living very leisurely. The ability to control emotions is quite powerful, and it's a bit evil. Lin Ke watched from the sidelines and thought of many ways of emotional manipulation. In the future, the manufacture of the new electric energy compressor will be handed over to you. When he was done observing, he raised his finger on Fitz's forehead. In an instant, many memories and pictures appeared in Fitz's mind. He seemed to have built an electric energy compressor with his own hands and understood a lot of truths. Fitz stays in the special operations team. He is regarded as a half-apprentice, so it doesn't matter if you give him a little sweetness, and in the future, the industry will expand, and Lin Ke will not need to personally serve in the manufacture of electric energy compressors. By the time Fitz digested his memory and came back to his senses, Lin Ke had disappeared. He wondered if he was having a dream. Dazed for a while, he hurriedly found relevant equipment and began to manufacture the electric energy compressor. Chapter 21. Lorna. She is playing with a notebook. Lin Ke suddenly appeared behind her, which startled her. You scare me, Lin Ke. Lorna scoffed. I'm sorry, what are you looking at so engrossed? Lin Ke swept his eyes and found that Lorna was looking up some information about mutant. Professor X showed up not long ago. I wanted to see if I could find him. Lorna noticed Lin Ke's gaze, and there was a trace of sadness on her cold and pretty face. Is that so? Lin Ke whispered something. Lorna wants to change the living environment of mutant. He has always known this. But now is not the time. Forget about this. Do you still remember what I was going to teach you about cultivation? Lin Ke didn't want Xiaonizi to indulge in these things too much, so he diverted her attention. You mean your ability to float? Hearing this, Lorna's expression became vivid and radiant. That's right. Lin Ke nodded. Then let's go to the training room, Lorna said happily. Unnecessary. Lin Ke smiled mysteriously. Lorna blinked in surprise, not knowing what Lin Ke meant. Close your eyes and accept the knowledge I pass on to you. Lin Ke helped Lorna straighten the green hair on her forehead and said. Lorna was already used to this kind of intimacy. At this moment she nodded and closed her eyes, completely trusting Lin Ke. Lin Ke pointed his finger on Lorna's forehead. In an instant, a large amount of memory and knowledge flooded into Lorna's mind. After a while, Lorna opened his eyes. The beautiful northern lights shone on his body, and he floated up. Lin Ke, I can fly. Did you send the memory to me? Lorna was overjoyed. She felt as if she was possessed by Lin Ke at this moment, and the physical sensations were similar to those in her memory. That is Lin Ke's memory. Perhaps it is not appropriate to use memory to describe it. It is more like a replica of experience. Satisfied? Lin Ke nodded and smiled. Lorna was definitely satisfied and couldn't be more satisfied. She floated twice. Her body suddenly turned upside down. Her beautiful green hair fell in front of Lin Ke, and she gave a light kiss. Spider-Man will charge copyright fees. Lin Ke cried in his heart. I don't know how long it has passed, but the girl stopped her excessive behavior. Lorna felt that it was because she was too excited to get flight ability for the first time. However, while she was shy, she was not timid. Instead, she sat halfway on the table, her calf dangling slightly, and boldly looked directly at Lin Ke. That's Lorna. Lin Ke secretly sighed at Lorna's boldness and said, It's not over yet. What's the meaning? Lorna raised her eyebrows, and then saw Lin Ke pointing her finger again. The content about the original magnetic cultivation method also flooded into her mind. This time, Lorna was even more shocked than before. This seems to be a practice method of a mutant ability, not an application skill. As a Westerner, this is the first time she knows the cultivation method. and some can't understand the meaning of cultivation. Lin Ke, can my mutant ability be enhanced through practice? Lorna said in surprise. Lin Ke found it unusual. Practice and become stronger. This is a matter of course for him. Did you create this for me? Lorna thought wildly, her little face getting hotter and hotter. That's right. Lin Ke felt that without Lorna, he really couldn't create the original magnetic cultivation method, at least half of the credit for it. Lorna cheered and swooped down with a happy face. Lin Ke quickly caught her. The girl has body fragrance, but it's a pity that both of them are too young. Lorna's little head was in Lin Ke's arms, like a cute Egyptian cat. This sense of déjà vu made Lin Ke a little amused, so he stroked Lorna's short hair and messed it up. Hey, Lorna snorted. Let's go eat together. Lin Ke spoke. Now it's lunchtime. Let's go. Speaking of this, Lorna jumped off Lin Ke at once. She can't refuse food at all. Many of the foods in the SHILD cafeteria were not available to her before. She made up her mind to eat all the food she hadn't eaten before. This is probably a kind of revenge mentality. Many poor children will do this after they have capital. I've been looking for you for a long time. Let's go and have dinner together. At this time, Simmons happened to come over. The three went to the cafeteria together. Simmons complained in his mouth. That guy Fitz is crazy. He won't listen to me when I call him. The technique that Fitz thinks about day and night is in his head at this moment. For fear of forgetting, he naturally refuses to be distracted in the slightest. Maybe he's in a hurry right now, Lin Ke said in the middle of his mouth. The three chatted all the way and came to the cafeteria. Little Lin Ke is here. Is Hill not here again today? Come to Aunt Jenny. What would you like to eat, little guy? The appearance of Lin Ke caused a crowd to watch. Cute and handsome appearance, simply invincible. Lin Ke is already immune to these words. Robert, who is that little boy? A man asked his friend at the same table. His name is Ward. He was out of the field some time ago and hasn't been back to SHILD headquarters for a long time. Originally, in addition to being a SHILD Level 7 agent, he is also a Hydra spy. Yes, Hydra still lurks in SHILD. When it comes to the file size of Blue Star's villain organization, Hydra ranks first, and no one dares to rank second. The early giants of SHILD, known as the Zodiac, later split. Fury is one of the Geminis. John Garrett is one of the Aquarius, because his identity is a high-level Hydra, and now he has been regulated. But what others don't know is that Ward is his adopted son. Secretly, Ward is a representative of Hydra's young and strong faction. He became a SHILD Level 7 agent at a young age, and his abilities should not be underestimated. Hill's adopted son is called Lin Ke. You know we are advancing the new energy plan. Lin Ke seems to be a key figure in it, Robert whispered. Key person? The word caught Ward's attention. What does this have to do with him? Ward feigned curiosity. I don't know much about it either. There are rumors that he is the maker of new energy sources, but I don't think it is reliable. Robert shook his head. The relationship between Lin Ke and the power compressor cannot be concealed. That weak electricity phenomenon in New York is still hanging in the newspapers of some third-rate tabloids, and it has become one of the urban legends. Is that so? Ward's eyes darkened for a moment, and he decided to investigate Lin Ke carefully. As an agent, his intuition told him that Lin Ke is not simple, and there are many strange things in it. Lin Ke frowned, looking around, feeling a little uncomfortable for no reason. Chapter 22. After a few days, somewhere in a dark basement, a corner desk lamp is revealed, and the light shines on the table case. Under the light, you can see a photo. The owner of the photo is a handsome man with calm eyes and looking straight ahead. It was Ward. However, at the moment, a dagger was stuck in the photo. Fury leaned on the table with his elbows. His whole body was in the shadows. His eyes were deep. The fish are about to take the bait. A stewed egg director has always been a clever fisherman. On this day, Lin Ke was staying in the study, looking up biological materials, when he heard that Phil Coulson was visiting. He immediately went to the lobby. Lin Ke told Hill about teaching Fitz to make an electric energy compressor, and Hill transferred Fitz away as the captain. It happened that the electric energy compressors made by Lin Ke were not enough. Fizz is just right for drudgery. Now the entire research institute consists of Lin Ke, Lorna, and Simmons. Lin Ke. Seeing Lin Ke approaching, Phil Coulson immediately greeted him. Uncle Phil Coulson. Lin Ke nodded and looked at the strange woman beside Phil Coulson quite unexpectedly. The woman has long flaxen hair, which integrates the mixed beauty of the East and the West. The facial features are three-dimensional and sexy, and the amber eyes are wild, proud, and uninhibited. This is Sky, the new member of the Special Operations Team, Phil Coulson introduced, adding, Hill has given permission. Hello. Sky greeted Lin Ke and Simmons. She doesn't seem to like Lin Ke's face very much. That's the truth. She is not interested in being cute and prefers men with a sense of strength, which can be seen from her wild eyes. At this time, Lorna also came over. Hi, Lorna. This is your new future teammate. Phil Coulson introduced Lorna again. Afterwards, he continued, Sky's computer technology is very powerful. If you have any information to inquire about in the future, you can give it to her. Welcome. Simmons applauded, looking happy. Fitz left. Sky came over, just to make up for the vacancy. At least there is no need to ask outsiders to come over and fix it every time there is a problem with the computer. Welcome. Lin Ke's eyes glowed. Sky is an Inhuman. Although the heal of Inhumans is not as good as that of Mutant, Sky's shock ability is still worth studying. Say something. The leader of the Inhuman race, Black Bolt, also possesses a similar shock ability, claiming to be able to destroy the Earth with sound waves. Then I met Wanda, a reality modification that directly made his mouth disappear. In the end, the sound wave could not be released, and his head exploded. It was very funny to die. Sky raised his chin slightly and smiled at Lin Ke and Lorna. I've known you for a long time. Before you used the super ability on the balcony, I paid attention. It was also because of that incident that she was checked by SHIELD on the water meter. After observing for a month, Phil Coulson thoroughly figured out her details, determined that she was extremely valuable, and included her. Sky's hacking ability, very scary. Phil Coulson found out that she had used a laptop to hack into the Pentagon's network system. Oh. Lin Ke didn't expect this to happen. Sky nodded, and was about to talk about the Rising Tide organization, then woke up to his current identity and shut up silently. Phil Coulson came this time, not just for Sky's business. Lin Ke Industry is listed today, and the listing ceremony is held, and Lin Ke and others are going to watch the ceremony. Definitely, Lin Ke doesn't show his face. It's just such an important moment. It's a pity not to witness it. Lin Ke Industry, as a company, is preparing to go public in less than half a year, which is inconceivable to outsiders. But as long as you think of the investors behind it, it is not surprising. The publicity about Lin Ke Industry has been overwhelming within a month and has attracted widespread attention throughout the world. The financial giants on Wall Street who have obtained inside information have been waiting for this day to come. The estimated market value of Lin Ke Industry is $30 billion, but the real price is far more than this number. 5 SHIELD security vehicles headed for downtown New York. In the car in the center sat Phil Coulson and Lin Ke. Simmons hummed softly, cell phone in hand, watching the stock market. She made a lot of loans online and waited for Lin Ke Industries to go public to buy stocks and wait for the appreciation. Lin Ke has a calm face. Becoming the richest man in the world is just a small goal. Sky looked out the window. She was not interested in money. Lorna clings to Lin Ke. Lin Ke is enough for her, and she has no capital to invest. Phil Coulson's driving skills are at the full level, and he can hardly feel the bumps along the way, which is very comfortable. Finally, the group arrived at Lin Ke Industrial Building. At the moment, the building was surrounded by reporters. Under the escort of SHIELD agent, Lin Ke and others entered the building. Hall. A grand ceremony is being held, and mainstream media such as CNN and BBC are broadcasting live simultaneously. Lin Ke and others appeared in the private room on the second floor, glanced around, and found a military representative in the front row of the ceremony. Dude, that's really blatant. He likes. Hill at the moment stood in front of the stage, glanced at Lin Ke, and expressed apology. She is too busy. Lin Ke smiled back. Guests came one after another. Lin Ke even saw a representative of Stark Industries. That representative looked a bit embarrassed. Obviously, he had been interrogated by the media before coming in. After all, Stark Industries, as today's new energy giant, will definitely have a certain impact on it when Lin Ke Industries goes public with great momentum. About an hour later, Lin Ke Industry announced its official listing. Fireworks fell from the sky, and there was warm applause at the scene. Simmons blushed, bought stocks, and put all his assets on Lin Ke. Money makes people crazy. Case shook his head. She has seen many people commit crimes for money, even if the other party is a superhuman. When money speaks, all truth is silent. Lin Ke remembered this famous saying. Money is not everything, but without money is absolutely impossible. As strong as Collector, Gao Tianzuan, or the 3 great empires of the universe, they will all bow their heads for money. Money is magic. There is nothing wrong with what the ancient Chinese said. At this moment, an agent walked up to Lin Ke and said, Lin Ke, Hill wants to see you. Lin Ke glanced at it, and Phil Coulson didn't know where he went. He looked at the agent again and said, You are very strange. Who are you? Ward flashed his SHIELD. My name is Ward. Lin Ke's eyes flashed, and immediately, the corners of his mouth curled up with interest. Come with me. There was a trace of coldness in Ward's eyes, and he led the way. Lin Ke did not refuse and walked side by side with Lorna. Sky hesitated and followed the three of them. She felt that Ward was a little suspicious. Simmons was immersed in the stock market, and when she came to her senses, she was the only one left in the room. Chapter 23. Hey, can you tell us where Phil Coulson went? Seeing the road going further and further away, Sky felt more and more bad. He has urgent matters to attend to. Ward looked sideways at Sky. His eyes were cold. Sky felt cold, took 2 steps back, winked at Lin Ke secretly and whispered, This place is already far away from the venue. It's really far away from the venue. Lin Ke nodded and stopped in his tracks. After walking so far, the bloody scene should not be seen by outsiders, which will affect the reputation of Lin Ke industry. I advise you to follow me honestly. Ward turned around and looked down at Lin Ke and his party. 8 people armed with firearms rushed out from the compartment in the corridor, forming an encirclement in an instant. Lin Ke, we are very interested in your brain and hope you will cooperate well. Ward straightened the collar of his suit and smiled with confidence. 3 well-trained Hydra members stepped forward, ready to grab. Sky looked like an old hen in front of Lin Ke and Lorna. If Sky can become S.H.I.E.L.D. director in the future, he still has a strong sense of justice. Lin Ke looked over Sky's arm and landed on a man next to Ward. Looking at his attire, he was clearly a winter soldier. Interesting. The corners of Lin Ke's mouth curled up slightly. Apparently, Hydra also tried hard to find him. I just don't know who the snakehead behind it is. If you can use this to find Baron Strucker and get the psychic scepter in advance, it would be great. Thinking of this, Lin Ke lightly raised his palm. The guns in the hands of the Hydra personnel exploded one after another as if they had rebelled, and the metal fragments that exploded blasted towards their heads as if they were spiritual. Immediately, red and white tofu flowers sprayed in all directions, and the scene was extremely cruel. The 3 Hydra members who were about to make an arrest froze. To ensure Lin Ke's safety, they did not carry guns. But that doesn't mean they're okay. Lin Ke snapped his fingers. The gravitational force twisted, and the heads of the 3 turned directly in a circle. The whole process takes less than 5 seconds. Ward was shocked on the spot and shouted angrily, Damn mutant bastards! Today Mutant, although in decline, is still the largest super ability group. His words angered Lorna. Obviously everyone is the same person, but some people have to be divided into different classes. The green aurora floated, and several steel balls shot out from Lorna's body, hitting Ward hard. Winter Soldier is a killing machine specially produced for war. At the moment, he judged the situation instantly and wanted to shoot. In the next second, the gun twisted into a twist, but instead of the steel gun, Winter Soldier was liberated, and he strode directly towards Lorna. In the face of this bloody scene, Lorna's mental quality is good if he can make a move, but after all, he has not experienced serious combat training, and he was a little at a loss for a while. At the critical moment, Lin Ke made a move. He used the simplest and most effective means. Gravity out of balance. Winter Soldier flew straight to the ceiling, then landed heavily. Lin Ke stepped on top of his head and clenched his palm lightly. A horrible scene happened. Winter Soldier's steel-like arms creaked, as if a collapse had occurred. TSK. Winter Soldier is nothing more than that. Lin Ke was disdainful. He hasn't built a complete unified field yet. Can't stand the gravitational force alone? After completely destroying Winter Soldier, Lin Ke raised his hand and Ward flew over. Sky was leaned against the wall, dumbfounded. However, no one cares about her mood at the moment. Say, who sent you here? Lin Ke grabbed Ward's neck and said in a neutral tone, Bah, you devil. You're going to hell. Ward spat hard. At the moment, it was obvious that he was a victim. Wrong answer. Lin Ke lightly shook his head. Suddenly, Ward's expression became terrified, and he screamed like crazy. Just when his mentality was at its most unstable, Lin Ke used a mental attack. The powerful mental power directly turned Ward into a dementia. Say, what is your purpose? Lin Ke spoke. Arrest. Lin Ke. Hostage. Rescue. Adoptive father. Ward's eyes were chaos, and the corners of his mouth were drooling. Do you know where the psychic scepter is? Lin Ke nodded in satisfaction and asked about something he was interested in. Have no idea. Ward has completely become a fool who only knows how to answer questions, just like the sow in the 18 Forbidden game. Lin Ke threw him away in disgust, because he had heard someone coming. Soon, footsteps were heard from both ends of the corridor. Agent May and Phil Coulson led a group of agents Shanshan to the scene. Alert! Phil Coulson shouted loudly. Lin Ke and Lorna were speechless. The top floor of Lin Ke building, deluxe room. Hill washed Lin Ke and changed her into a new suit. She watched the fighting video in the corridor, and she had mixed feelings in her heart. Almost, Lin Ke was about to be kidnapped. This made her doubt the rightness of getting into a dispute. But things have come to this point, and it is impossible to go back. As for the cruelty, doesn't she really care? Others have knocked on her door, so she still has to be nice? It's a complete idiot to be a saint at this moment. On the contrary, Lin Ke's calm performance made her very satisfied. This means that Lin Ke will be able to protect himself well in the future. Instead, it was Fury who called to draw her attention to Lin Ke's mental health problems. Damn bald. In her heart, her own child is the cutest and the most obedient, and he is not some kind of murderous demon king. Touching Lin Ke's fleshy face, Hill smiled and said, "Did you get scared today?" "No." Lin Ke raised her chest. "After killing someone today, I really don't feel anything. He's not that DC Superman. The flowers and plants are afraid of being hurt." "Awesome." Hill gave Lin Ke one. On the side, Lorna, who was sitting on the sofa, was a little jealous. Her seductive eyes widened a little. Lin Ke was keenly aware of it and said with a smile, "Lorna, are you not scared?" Hill gritted his teeth. This brat can pick up girls at a young age. Lorna calmed down and shook her head. "I feel normal." As expected of Magneto's daughter, she is courageous. Lin Ke secretly gave a thumbs up, just when the three of them were having fun. Over there at SHIELD, there is a terrible picket operation going on. In fact, there is no need to picket. Ward is now in question and answer mode, more mutiny than mutiny. All the remnants of SHIELD will be eliminated in one go. SHIELD's internal Hydra suffers, and the external nature is not much better. Many HYDRA forces hidden in the dark have been confessed by Ward. These will all be the key targets of SHIELD Hydra, a proper terrorist organization. SHIELD is specialized in them. Phil Coulson did a great job with such simplicity, and his face was full of smiles. Originally, he became SHIELD director only because of his qualifications and Fury's recommendation, but now he has real achievements. No one dared to question his identity as the chief. Chapter 24. I've known for a long time that this organization is a piece of shit. In the laboratory, listening to the report of JRVIS, Tony looked disdainful. SHIELD's information channel, he has it here. Avengers information channel, SHIELD also has. Except for some extremely secretive matters, the two sides can be said to be transparent to each other. JRVIS, where is the material analysis? Tony spoke. On the experimental table on one side, there is an electric energy compressor. This was obtained by Stark Industries in the name of a collaborator. The purpose is also very simple, Steel Teacher. In the crystallization of electric energy, Tony saw the possibility of creating a new type of steel army. Electric energy, originally, is a kind of energy suitable for attacking, estimated to have resolved 12%. JRVIS is polite. It has been 3 days since I got the power compressor. Tony frowned slightly, then relaxed. As a researcher, he understands that scientific research is a long process. However, unbeknownst to Tony, Lin Ke has a password lock on the power compression technology in order to prevent mass production or reproduction of the power compression device after it is lost. When Tony breaks through the level of material, he will fall into a bigger pit. Although Lin Ke has some brains, he also has a little more whimsy. Tony was talking to himself, muttering, "But boss, you are afraid to go out these days. Are you afraid of the ridicule of Dr. Banner and Natasha Romanoff?" JRVIS said suddenly. JRVIS, shut up. SHIELD, I can't go back for the time being. Lin Ke stayed in the presidential suite for 5 days in a row. In the past 5 days, he has been reading books related to physics to prepare for the completion of the unified field. This is the convenience of modern society. As long as the knowledge conforms to morality, it can be recorded in books. If you're savvy enough, you can really learn to rub nuclear bombs with your hands. Just as Lin Ke was tirelessly acquiring knowledge, a phone call came. Lin Ke checked the incoming call message. It was Phil Coulson. After answering the phone, Phil Coulson's happy voice came over. Hello, Lin Ke. The application for access permission from the gene bank has been completed. Lin Ke was stunned for a moment, stunned by the sudden surprise. The beauty was bubbling. Is that true? Uncle Phil Coulson never tells a lie. Lin Ke jumped 3 meters high and cheered happily. He hurriedly threw the book aside and said, Send someone to pick me up now. Okay, I will as soon as possible. At this time, Sky and Lorna were attracted by the noise. What's wrong, Lin Ke? Lorna was very curious. What could make Lin Ke so happy? Lorna, I'm going to the UN gene bank. Lin Ke's face was full of joy. Lorna suddenly realized. Lin Ke once told her about it. She said happily, Congratulations, Lin Ke. When Lin Ke is happy, she is happy. For the joy of the two little ones, Sky was a little confused. United Nations Gene Bank. She has heard of this place, but is there anything good about going there? She definitely didn't know that Lin Ke didn't come back after a stroll this time, but went with the highest authority and could check all the information. Just when Sky was about to ask something, boom, the door was flung open, and Hill walked in aggressively. She stared at Lin Ke immediately. Don't go. Hill really hated Phil Coulson's big mouth right now and wanted to punch him in the face. Do you know what's going on now? Lin Ke was attacked by Hydra just now. How dare you let Lin Ke go out? What about your training as an agent? How cautious and patient you are as an agent. Did you feed the dogs? At this time, Lin Ke's cell phone rang. Hill moved with long legs, stepped forward, and grabbed the phone. Lin Ke, it's not good. Hill knows you are going to the United Nations Gene Bank. He seems very angry. Please be careful. On the other end of the phone, Phil Coulson's voice trembled slightly. Good old man Phil Coulson was scolded bloody by Hill just now, and now he can tip off the news, which is already very righteous. However, he didn't know that it was Hill who answered the phone now. Cole. Son. Hill gritted his teeth. In the office, Phil Coulson was so frightened that he dropped the phone, gasping for breath, feeling like he saw God. He finally knew why fury bit his shaved head. Who can withstand the pressure of the chief? Lin Ke saw at a glance that Hill's angry expression was trying to scare him. And even if it is true, he is not afraid. In order to go to the United Nations Gene Bank, I'm afraid I have to be a rebellious son today. Lin Ke, you can't go out. Hill is full of dignity. Snort. Lin Ke turned his head away. His body was floating. I can fly. That means Hill can't hold him. Hill. Lin Ke's originally tense face was almost broken by Lin Ke, and he laughed out loud. This kid is really getting worse and worse. Sky watched from the side, thinking that the mother and son were about to quarrel, but Hill waved his hand and said, Okay. Sky envied. I wish I had such a good family environment, a family where the family can understand each other. I'm too busy here to accompany you, but I will hire a bodyguard for you. Hill rubbed his forehead and said, Don't worry, I'll be fine, and you know how strong I am. Lin Ke flew closer, touched Hill's head, and said confidently, On the bright side of the entire Earth, there are only a handful of people who can hurt him, and almost all of them are the kind who don't care about world affairs. I'm afraid you will hurt others, Hill said worriedly. Lin Ke was speechless. Don't abuse your strength. Hill arranged Lin Ke's clothes. Do you think I'm the kind of person who gets lost in power? Many people in Marvel suddenly gained God-level power, and then their brains started to twitch, and they were played to death by themselves. Lin Ke is not that kind of person. He belongs to the kind who is strong in all aspects of mind, skill, and strength. This is how a Superman should behave. Hope so. Hill also believed that Lin Ke was not that kind of person, nodded and said, How long do you plan to go this time? Lin Ke pondered for a while and said, At least a month. The amount of information in the UN Gene Bank is no joke. Good. Hill looked a little worried, walked aside, and made a call. Lin Ke's bodyguards must be elite. Can't be those scumbags of SHIELD anymore. Who knows if SHIELD will pop up again. HYDRA, it's exhausting. Chapter 25. The next day, stop at the airport. Hill drove, leading the special operations team of 4, to a parking stand. Suddenly, the light and shadow in front of his eyes changed. The Quinjet fighter exits its stealth stance and emerges. Simmons covered his mouth. Although a member of SHIELD, she has never flown a Quinjet. The gangway was lowered, and Hill led the 4 into the plane. Hill, long time no see. A blonde-haired beauty in a white stewardess outfit stepped out of the cab. Natasha Romanoff, Lin Ke is on your leave. Hill looked serious. Although she occasionally has political disagreements with Fury, she is absolutely at ease in handing Lin Ke over to this woman. That's right. Natasha Romanoff is the bodyguard for Lin Ke this time. I have to say that Hill's connections are top-notch. Natasha Romanoff is a member of the Avengers Alliance and also a level 9 agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. She has absolutely no ability and is proficient in a series of skills such as investigation, infiltration, language, interrogation, and computers. And Natasha Romanoff is a beauty. Black Widow on the movie line is not an old monster. Originally, it was just over 30 years old. Lin Ke was also surprised that Hill could invite this general. I also want to thank you for sending me a long vacation. Natasha Romanoff laughed. Protecting Lin Ke, compared to her previous high-intensity work, is indeed a vacation, similar to sneaking into Tony's side. You are Lin Ke. First meeting. I am Natasha Romanoff. Immediately, Natasha Romanoff looked at Lin Ke with a soft light in his eyes and stretched out his hand. She is always very patient with children. Hello. Lin Ke reached out and shook her hand. Okay, I'll go first. Before leaving, Hill kissed Lin Ke before leaving. You are Black Widow? Don't you have red hair? After repeated comparisons, Sky recognized Natasha Romanoff's identity and looked surprised. You know me? Natasha Romanoff raised her eyebrows in surprise and sat down casually. As a level 9 agent, her existence was originally a secret. As a former Rising Tide member, Sky accidentally found information on Natasha Romanoff. Hearing this, Natasha Romanoff didn't ask any further questions and said with a smile, sit tight. Lin Ke hurriedly pulled the girls to sit down. The gangway closed, and the Quinjet began to take off. At this moment, Natasha Romanoff smiled and said, autopilot. Simmons was terrified. Natasha Romanoff didn't do it for nothing. She is measuring the character of several people, especially Lin Ke. Fury said that Lin Ke's mind is very mature. But how mature is it? She is curious. The destination of this flight is Austria, and it will take 7 hours. We have some chats. Natasha Romanoff propped her chin, stared at Lin Ke sitting opposite her, and said with a smile, what does Aunt Natasha Romanoff want to talk about? Lin Ke laughed. This Black Widow wants to find its own bottom. It doesn't matter, just satisfy her. Just call me sister. No matter how old a woman is, she cares about her age and title. Natasha Romanoff thought for a while and said, I heard that my younger brother is very knowledgeable in physics, and I also know something about it. Subsequently, Natasha Romanoff initiated a series of questions, and Lin Ke answered them fluently. The two chatted deeper and gradually extended to some difficult areas. Natasha Romanoff changed from asking to asking. At the end, Lin Ke interrupted her with a weird face. You can't learn the power compression technology from a thief, right? Suddenly, Natasha Romanoff was embarrassed. The following questions were all asked by Tony on her behalf. It turned out to be related to power compression. Tony asked her to ask tricky questions. Most people would not think of power compression technology, but they met Lin Ke. Lin Ke is not Fitz's level of knowing what is happening and not knowing why, but a true master. Seeing Lin Ke staring at herself with a half-smile, Natasha Romanoff scolded Tony 100 times in her heart. Although spies are originally doing this business, but it's still too much to let yourself attack a child. Whole Tony. I don't understand these questions very well. Hee. I heard that Chinese people are very good at mathematics. Natasha Romanoff changed the subject. Half an hour later, I'm going to check the cockpit. Natasha Romanoff left sweating profusely. Today is destined to be a day for Natasha Romanoff to be deflated. It's really hard to be crushed by a child. Idiot. I still want to compete with Lin Ke in your IQ. Lorna grunted. Yes, she's even worse than your IQ. Lin Ke pinched her face. Lorna is really cute with all this baby fat on her face. Really? Huh. Sky watched, feeling like Ibby **H had been stuffed. Lin Ke, look, your company's stock has risen again. Simmons elbowed Lin Ke with excitement. Ever since he bought the shares of Lin Ke Industry and tasted the taste of getting rich, Simmons has been out of control and completely became a money fan. I think it's better for you to pay off the loan first, Lin Ke kindly suggested. Haha, debts can't rise as fast as stocks. Simmons licked his lips, his eyes almost turning into Franklin's. She used to be a housegirl and didn't have much need for money. But I can't stand the charm of money. For example, no matter how lazy a person is, if 100 yuan is dropped on the ground, he will still bend down to pick it up. Lin Ke was speechless, shook his head, and ignored her. Not long after, Natasha Romanoff came out, changed into normal clothes. She opened the small refrigerator and poured some drinks for everyone. The service was very attentive. The topic Natasha Romanoff started this time is quite normal. Everyone chatted happily along the way, and time passed inadvertently. The destination has arrived. The United Nations Gene Bank was established on an artificial island near the capital of Austria. The white buildings are scattered on the island, full of scents of technology. Quinjet fighter jets land on the tarmac. After getting off the gangway, Lin Ke saw 3 people dressed as scholars first. Welcome to the America research team. The leader is a middle-aged man with gray temples. Hello, Director Wells, Natasha Romanoff said with a smile. The middle-aged man in front of him is the second in command of the entire island. He used to be the director of a research institute, and now he is an executive of the United Nations Gene Bank and one of the heads of the Human Genome Project. Judging from the specifications of the welcome, the United Nations attaches great importance to this meeting. Seeing 5 women and a little boy getting off the plane, Wells was only surprised for a moment, and then led everyone into the scientific research base.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card, directly on my channel, or right here on the screen. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.